Welcome, everybody, to MogTalk 123. Today, we are going to be having a wonderful conversation about the raiding scene. And I brought on three awesome guests for that, but before we get into that, I am going to let you guys know, if you haven't seen MogTalk before, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community, where we discuss anything about Final Fantasy XIV, whether it's Savage raiding, Chocobo racing, or dying to stupid mechanics and laughing about it right afterwards, or raging, as we saw. Arthars kind of got a little bit angry there, but it's what? Before we get too far into this, let me go ahead and introduce the cast we have today, and I'm going to start here on my bottom left, which is Arthars. Arthars, could you go ahead and tell everybody who you are?
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Arthars, with an R, not the Russian one. I have to clarify this every single time.
Make sure.
Right?
I'll never have him on my show. Never.
Yeah. No. Don't. Right. So I mainly play on the Japanese server. Play some on the NA server, though, but mainly on the Japanese server. But all of these people right here, watch them very closely. Play with Yuki quite a few times.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of know how the NA works as well. That's why maybe I can squeeze into this show.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can give us some good perspective as well, I think. So.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Also, since you already said it, Yuki, could you go ahead and tell everybody who you are, dude?
Hi guys, I'm Yuki. I stream a bit of Final Fantasy every now and then, and I'm mostly just your everyday raider, kind of. I do a couple of speed kills here and there, and so does Aria. Actually, we both kind of compete with each other sometimes. I play warrior, so if you wanna take a look at some warrior gameplay, feel free to visit my channel. Okay. And yeah.
All right, there you go. And then we have Aria. Aria, go ahead and tell everybody who you are, dude.
Hello, I'm Aria, as the introduction goes, but I'm also a Final Fantasy XIV streamer, and also speed kill, and also warrior main. But I like to do a lot of kind of silly shit while trying to play optimally as possible, or trying to learn here and there. But if you're looking for some stupid /fun 14 gameplays, feel free to come check me out.
Yeah. All right, I gotta ask you guys real quick. Did you guys play Warrior for Prague?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yep.
Arthars,
I'm warrior level, but no. The moment, first hand when I play warrior, right, I'm like, this job is bad. But it could be me. So the moment when I watch Xeno video, I'm like, okay, it's officially bad. So I immediately jump ship, and I just level Dark Knight on my and both. Wait, one of my Gilgamesh character is warrior, but because it was so bad, I also leveled the warrior just to cut roulette kills,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's so bad, it's not fun. So I just did not prop on warrior at all on Gilgamesh for like 4 weeks.
Oh
Then 4 weeks later, when I'm like, okay, I'm ready to sit down and see how it is in raid, with the knowledge after clearing, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, okay, this job is still bad until they fixed it. After the first week, it was playable, it was bearable. After the most recent update, I haven't done any warrior yet for these last 2 weeks.
Yuki, Aria, do you guys kind of agree with Arthars on that? Is warrior bad at was or warrior so bad that you probably should have jumped ship, or were you just being stubborn about it, or?
I was being pretty stubborn for sure. I legit told my group, I was like, okay, I'm gonna prog as warrior, but if it gets really bad, I'll switch over. But as soon as we hit 03, it was like, it made sense that you were tanking as warrior, and then 04 was also made sense for a lot of the mechanics.
Yeah,
I had the other two tanks prepared, just in case the warrior changes weren't really that great. But then I saw the patch notes, and I'm like, I'm playing warrior. Fuck it. Nope. I'm not gonna touch Dark Knight. Screw that job.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it was kind of funny seeing that, especially now, with Shake It Off on 04S. What's the point?
Is it really good now, or
Really good.
like really good? Okay, I haven't tried it
Warrior
these 2
worked
weeks.
before the Shake It Off. It was really good before the Shake It Off change. The Shake It Off is just adding icing onto the cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at some point, warrior turn 3 and turn 4 is just turn 3 at least it's like just superior
Mm-hmm.
in turn 3. Warrior is just superior. Was it Yuki or was it Hans? I don't remember. No, I don't think it's them. Someone in Gilgamesh kind of told me about the warrior tanking thing. Then the moment I start trying it, like fuck man, this job is just made for turn 3. Just made for turn 3. No, you can't you just can't get any better. The cooldowns are just
Perfect.
just too good, man. Yeah, perfect.
So I noticed something while watching you guys all talk. Like Arthas is perfectly in sync. Aria, I think, is in sync. Yuki, for some reason, like your camera is not in sync with your audio. I don't know if Discord's just that far behind.
I have no clue.
Oh, now it's good.
Maybe it's my
Yeah,
shitty
now
camera.
it's okay. Yeah,
I think maybe
It looks
because you
okay.
didn't have it selected. Maybe that's what it was. If it's not selected, maybe it's having a problem keeping up with it. I don't know.
Possibly.
We'll see. All right, I'll just make fun of you if I see it. Fair?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, guys. By the way, we did a lot of changes to the layout today. You can notice I tried to get the Twitch center focused here kind of at the bottom. I have Sky working on, and you know what? Okay. He has basically full access to all of your comments and putting them on the screen. So if Sky sees something in the chat and he's like, man, I want to throw this on the screen, it's all up to him. If you're mad because your comment doesn't get on the screen, it's because of Sky. Just to give you a heads up. And if you don't say anything interesting, then there's nothing that will pop up in that little box there. You'll just say it's reserved for interesting comments only. So I also put the chat kind of in the middle here, and we have a little bit different layout. You guys will see as we go throughout the show. We'll be talking a lot about rating today, so if you guys don't care about rating, you only care about story, main story quests, things like that, and talking about haircuts, this is definitely not going to be the show for you. Although it might. I don't know. For some reason, ERP and like rating seem to bleed it together a lot. I don't know who does that.
Wait, what?
But I think Easy Katka is the father of blending those two together, or whatever you would call him. Father, Makote, one of those. So, guys, look forward to the show. Please give me any kind of comments towards the changes in the layout. If you don't like it or anything else, I need to know. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this rolling. We named the show basically after a response most of the community gave me when I asked them what's going on in the raid scene. It seems like people don't really know that there's a raid scene anymore, or maybe just don't think there is a raid scene anymore. What raid scene? What raid scene? Do you guys feel like it's dying out, or do you guys feel like it's perfectly fine? I'm asking 3 people who are completely active in raiding right now.
Wow, like, how do I put it in? I mean, raid scene is definitely there. For me, right?
Mm-hmm.
The raid is too easy. I think everybody can agree to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some people, at the very first week, when everybody comes in and see like turn 3 and turn 4, everybody come to the channel and say, oh, yo, dude, did you see turn 3 and turn 4? I think it's the best raid ever made. I think this could be more difficult than create. I'm like, calm your tits down, right? Just wait for the first group to clear. For me, right? It depends on how long it takes to clear. It doesn't necessarily means that how difficult the fight is, how interesting the fight is. I'm going to give a shit. As long as say world first clear it faster than creator, I would dare to say that it's easier, right? Of course, the mechanic has to be different. Of course, it has to be something that is you never seen before. Otherwise, why the fuck would you want it to be in the raid, right? So, true enough, a week or 2 later, it became a joke. Everybody, not a joke, like, it's easy. It's definitely easier than creator. So we all thought that what type of raid could have been easier than creator? Because creator is already that easy, right? How much more easier can it be? If it's anything easier than creator, I would say that I wouldn't say the raid scene is dead. I would say that like it's just become like so it become boring. And true enough, that is exactly what happened. So right now the raid scene, it's still there. There's still people raiding, but it's definitely a lot less. And on top of that, because it's so easy, I realized that, for JP, sometimes when I check on the NA, or sometimes when I check like people who likes to trap, their stream on the NA, it looks like even though people haven't cleared, everybody want 2 chests. So even finding like helping people trapping is not easy anymore. So even for raiders like us, right? We want to raid. I mean, I'm not sure about you. I mean, of course, Aria and Yuki, Zeno can somehow always find a group to join or raid, right? But I'm not sure about you guys. I would love to listen to you guys feedback as well. It just feels different, isn't it? It just feels different. When I was in Gordius, right? Here we go. When I was in Gordius in Midas, right? People go up to last day of odd patch. Some even went up to last day of the next raid patch. And people will still ask you, yo, can you come and help me Living Liquid? Can you come and help me Manipulator? I'm like, okay. I mean, as a raider, that feels good, right? You know, people need you. You feel that you can help. You get them a clear. You feel good. Everybody feel good, right? Slowly, Midas is still okay. Slowly, at some point of Creator, and then now in Omega, that layer is just gone. No one really needs you anymore, right? Like for JP at least, because you can almost get everything done in parts. You know, who the hell needs to press a friend list, look for people to raid? And also recently, except for my own weekly raids, and then I hop on to NA for weekly raids. Some NA groups that, although I don't need anything more anymore on NA, but people will still ask you, you want to do 1 to 4? I'm like, yeah, sure, anytime. You know, I would love to raid, but the opportunity right now to do it on say a park basis, on say a everyday basis, specifically on what you want to do in that raid, I just feel that it's definitely diminishing. But it's not dead yet, though. But it's definitely diminishing. And I think the difficulty has something to do with it.
Yuki, do you want to comment on that? Like, how's your raiding life, dude?
Oh, he's kind of right. Actually, I stopped streaming on Wednesday to Friday because I couldn't find any traps. I couldn't find any like people who actually like wanted help. Even on Mondays, people are like, "Oh, 2 chests, 04S, 03S." Like, what are you guys doing? 2 chests on a Monday? You're already 20 weeks behind. Just take the help. Oh my god.
Agree, totally agree.
But it's like this is how I feel, and this is like how a lot of the veteran raiders feel. Like, we've all gone through the harder raids, and we're kind of, we're not very interested in Omega. It's just too easy for us. It's good for the newer players who are getting into raiding. Like, you look at PF and it's always full of raid PFs. Like, there's definitely a lot more people trying out raiding right now. But for the older players, it's just boring. It's just there's just nothing for us to do. This, along with the fact that when Stormblood came, SE kind of stripped it up. SE kind of like gutted all of the job mechanics. Like, they didn't. Everything kind of watered down. It wasn't very interesting for a lot of people. Like, you don't have to care about lining up your boss. You don't have to care about what kind of cross classes you use. Just a bunch of things that just make the classes not as interesting to play anymore. So people clear a raid. They're not interested in trying out new jobs. It's not interesting for veteran raiders, at least.
So people who just need to go ahead and get their loot for the week, it's actually pretty good because there's groups out there that want to get their loot in for the week. But for the people who are actually going in there and wanting to just raid for fun, it's hard to find groups to raid for fun.
Yep.
Yeah. This time around, this cycle is. I never thought it would be worse than Creator. Creator is already, you can see already.
All right.
But I just did not. I really did not expect the bar could be lower than Creator.
Yeah. Aria, tell me about your raiding life, dude.
Similar to kind of Yuki's there. Like, after I do like my weeklies on Tuesday, I think for the first couple of weeks it was fine. Like, people were still needing help. Some people didn't really care about chests, but as the weeks went on and like people started to figure out the fights more, or more people got into the raiding scene, it's really, really hard to find like 1 chest or like no chest clears at all. Like, it's like even up to like Sunday night, I would like see like 2 chests. Like, if there were like 10 parties up, 8 out of the 10 will be like all 2 chests. Like, right now I'm going through the party finder right now. I can't. It's like they listed as like a learning/clear party, but they only want 2 chests. So like even as like a learning/clear, they don't want people who's experienced in it to help them out. So they just, it's like, what do like the hardcore like raiders exist if they can't really help other players out? You know, like I feel like in that way, sense, like it's Square Enix has kind of like killed off like the hardcore population of the raiding scene as a whole.
What about speedruns? Are speedruns still going strong, or are they kind of I don't know, withered away?
So right now the amount of groups who are actually speedrunning are quite low. You happen to grab me and Aria, who both do speedruns, but like I think we're like 2 out of 4 or 5 groups that do it right now.
Yeah,
Like a lot of the clear times you see on FF logs right now are actually just weekly clears.
Okay.
Like, a lot of them are actually just people got lucky with crits and balances on weekly clears, and that's it. But for the most part, most people aren't speedrunning.
Yeah, I think speedrunning. Like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you look at Delete Monk. You're like, where the hell have they been the entire tier? They're doing second coil synced because they're bored, because speedruns not interesting. Like this tier, like you look at creator. At least it was a little interesting because you can actually pick your burst phases and push phases and skip mechanics, and that made it a little interesting. But now speedrunning is how many crits can you get, and do you know how to cheese LB? That's speedrunning in a nutshell right now.
Nice. So I mean that's usually, I mean that sounds about right. I mean the thing is, when you come into speedrunning, everyone complains about Astros and RNG factors and everything else. They did some kind of weird stuff with this tier, which is they added in not really any DPS checks, right? It's all just the mechanics are there. No matter what, the DPS check is if you can kill it before Enrage, right? Like you don't skip mechanics, you don't do anything else, and so you don't have these little phases to figure out. And so it doesn't add any kind of complications for when your DPS get up. Like, I guess you could compare like what A11. Yeah,
A11 is kind of like the best example for skips.
Oh yeah.
So right now, do you feel like that's kind of killing the scene right now because of how they designed the fight?
It's a factor. I wouldn't say it's the main reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
At first, I thought it was pretty okay that there were no phase skips, because like this tier is the first tier that I ever actually started speedrunning or got an interest of it, and I thought it was really great design that there were no like phase pushes, because you can like plan out all your GCDs and all your abilities, and like there's no crit factor. I know I think it was for like A11. I'm not sure how controlled it was, but I think there were some parts of the fight where crit was kind of has slight implication to it for like a certain phase change. But because there's like instance timers, there's like or at least I learned that there's like different speeds to every pull. Like one pull can have like enrage like 10 seconds sooner or like even later. So like depending on what role of the like instance you get, it's like your speedrun strat can totally change based on that simple factor alone. So I think for the health of I guess speedrunning, having no phase pushes is really, really bad in that sense.
Okay. I mean, it made the raiding community probably a little bit better, I think, right? And so you're not in the terms of like trying to cheese through mechanics. And this is kind of what I thought the reason they did the O4S the way they did it, where they have the hardest mechanic right in the middle of the fight. Because in O and A12, you can skip the hardest part of the fight at the very end of the fight if you go fast enough, right? But there's no way to do that with O4S. So I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason we see that, and then it becomes this whole repetitive, straightforward fight. Like as soon as you clear the middle of the fight, you're done.
Yeah.
I feel like partially it's because of the skip sore memes in Servan. Like you do phase skips badly, and then that's what you get out of the community.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that kind of scared them off. It's like how people give them feedback in the previous tier affects them in the next tier. Like people complained that Midas was too scripted. So then we got Creator, which was like everything had some sort of phase push, and then people complained about that. So now we got everything scripted again.
Yeah, 100% scripted. So there's like, even if
just
you're
a
good,
quick question.
yeah.
Is there a meme for Shinryu yet?
No, skip
No.
Aerial Blast. I think that's one.
Oh, really?
Skip Aerial Blast is kind of actually difficult in a pug. So
Yeah.
usually you wouldn't count on it, but
Well-
Sword was different because there was literally no mechanics you had to deal with to skip Sword. Aerial Blast, people could die. Like it's 5 minutes into the fight, things could go wrong. So it's not as big of a thing as Sword, but
Right.
True.
it's a little bit there.
Yeah, that's pretty funny that you say that. Just because I know for a fact you have to have 2 tanks for that fight too, right?
Yeah.
There's no way to
Yeah.
get out of it with the Awkmords at the beginning of the fight. You just have to have it. Even though you cheese all of them with the 2 tanks, you still need 2 tanks to be able to cheese all of them. Right?
You have to deal with tank swaps in the last phase as well.
Yep.
So you kind of need 2 tanks until you outgear it so badly that you kind of skip all the phases.
Okay, I gotcha. That's fine. What do you guys think about that fight, by the way? Was it a good taste of raiding before you get into Super Savage?
No.
Oh.
Actually, no. The whole first phase was fucking amazing. I really had good time progging through it. But as soon as or hopefully this is not a spoiler for everybody, but as soon as you get on Shinryu's back and you drop down, all the excitement just goes away.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. Whenever I do progressing a fight, right? Usually like the first phase, I'll be some sort of expectation, and then I usually gauge the fight as a whole, like what is gonna happen after the first phase. So like what Aria said, the first phase, when I was doing, of course, I'm not. When I do Shinryu, when I do Primal, I'm not really get my static together on a Tuesday night. So usually I just pug it. Maybe a few friends who is not in my raid group, but the reason why they're not in my raid group is because they're not good enough. But we still want to have fun and get together and try Shinryu. And then going through the first phase with these, let's just call them the normal people.
Like me. The Frosties.
I don't know.
The Frosties of the world. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is actually really challenging, the first phase. For these people to, we get hit, we will die, we are human, right, the first time. But what is the pace that we pick up? And then when you play with these random people, then you're like, okay, this first phase is kind of seemingly overwhelming for them, which is good. But for my case, I'm thinking into the next phase. Like, if phase 1 is this good, the setting is really good. The phase 1 setting is really good. Although what Yoshida said, which is real, he said that the first phase is mainly the normal mechanics, but then bringing them together, rotating, maybe read out those indicators. It's true. It has nothing new with it. But when you think about it, people don't know the icicles. It was already there. It's just that in normal mode, you can see it. And then you have the Earth Shaker, the Earth Breath, which is the same mechanic. The normal mode have the cone. But people don't understand it. Then I'm like, what? How? I'm like, we're gonna be in trouble there, because Yoshida says that after first phase, the next few phase things that is new, right? And also in the preview, we see that one platform, we see that Shinryu actually descend and we actually fight it. I'm like, it's gonna be bad, And then like Aria say, the moment we get to the ads, and then you get to the bag, you jump down, he just die. That you can fuck up a little bit, but not as much as the phase 1. It's like very anticlimactic. The end is really anticlimactic. But as a whole fight, as a whole, I think is, aside from Torden, I would say the setting, not the difficulty, the setting for Shinryu, I would say is pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I only did 3
Visually,
times after that, I don't bother farming. Yeah, visually. And the feel, back then we talk about why can't we fight Bahamut? Why is it have to be a Bahamut Prime? Why can't we fight Alexander? When he transit into the last phase, when he do the comedian paddles, he is literally there like Sephiroth, like huge. Why can't we just fight that? So now for Shinryu, that we actually really fight itself and not
Right.
just a prime, and then we get to like interact with it. Like, Yoshida says that you can't fight Bahamut because it's too huge. In order to fight Bahamut, maybe we have to take out the wings, you have to take out parts of his body. Now we start to see it. Although Shinryu is not that big, but we, get on him, get his wings done, actually climb on him. I thought the feels is like, this is really good, because we might see more in the future. Because, when they talk about ultimate, they wanted to do a Titan ultimate. So in the interview, in some Famitsu interview, they say that, we are talking about, people jumping across platform. And like, how? So now you see Shinryu with the tail. Spoiler, I don't know whether how the fuck you still not clear, but whatever.
I still haven't cleared
you
it.
Get to the... Are you serious?
I haven't had time. To
wow.
do it. Yeah, I'm
no,
horrible.
Man, okay, but you get to...
I've only
getting
tried
the platform
once.
thingy. Yeah, actually, I was there. I saw it.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever tried it. All right, hold on.
So the platform thingy was really good.
Okay.
I think that we might see more in the future.
All right, I'm going to direct this over to Aria and Yuki here. This is a question from Jim Link. Overall, do you feel like Shinryu X is a better fight than Deltascape in general? Let's talk about turn 1 and 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Turn 1 and 2 are kind of okay. Turn 1 is kind of like Faust. People pull it and it dies in one pull, 1 or 2 pulls. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
2 is okay for the most part. It's a really simple fight. It's really easy, and I feel like if that was the first fight, then it would have been okay. As an introductory fight, it's still easy, but it's satisfactory.
Okay.
3, Shinryu beats both of those fights. Like, it's much better.
Okay. But when you were going into 3 still stands pretty well on its own, you think, or is it a bad?
3 was interesting. 3 had a lot of interesting mechanics. It was pretty cool, to be honest. It was easy. It was a little easy, comparatively speaking, but I think it was okay for a raid fight.
Okay.
I thought that the difference between 3 and Shinryu, I feel that they could be... Of course, we overgeared for Shinryu, that's for sure. But in terms of, say, going through the fight, I feel that 3 and Shinryu is kind of like equal. It's just that they are designed kind of like the opposite. Because 3 is really easy up to Animal Farm. And then from the Animal Farm is where you start to adapt the fight. Before that, it's all scripted, right?
Yeah.
But for Shinryu, it's the opposite. The opening is like, like I say, for say a raider to go in, or a normal PF people to go in. The opening for 3 is a little bit too much for these people. Sometimes even for me, right? I'm like, that's why I said, that's why I covered earlier. When I see phase 1, I have real high hopes for phase 2 and phase 3. End up is the opposite, because turn 3, the early fight is really kind of like stagnant, and it gets really interesting starting from the library, right? I kind of feel they are equal. It's just that for Shinryu, I don't think we can ever, unless we intentionally go in minimum item level, right? Or something. The only difference is like, I think Shinryu, we are way overgeared for it. But turn 3 is more difficult during progression. That's for sure, right? But we can never know regarding Shinryu, I guess.
All right, Aria, I want to hear some of your thoughts on this too. And here's a comment from the Caramel, the wonderful Caramel here. They should have deleted the ad phase in Shinryu. Super boring. That might give them some room to add in some more fun stuff besides Super Hypernova and Levin Bolt for the last phase. I don't know why I had so much trouble reading that sentence, Caramel. Sorry, dude. But what do you think about that, Aria?
Wait, what about Caramel's comment?
Yeah. Deleting the ad phase.
I think ad phase could have... I think instead of deleting it, I think modifying it would have been a lot better in that sense. Because there could have been like different things they could have added to make that whole tail sequence happen. But the ad phase did feel a bit lackluster. I think it would have had more impact if maybe it's because of her gear, but ads died way too quickly for it to do anything. Like, the big dragon gets to like get off like one death sentence. That's literally about it. But other than that, like it's literally if you bring a summoner in and they just like you just let them have their way at it, it will just basically die in like 2 seconds. So it's like, what's the point of like even like gathering all these ads and like try to do something with it when they're just gonna die really quickly?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. Do you still feel? How many times have you guys done the fight before? Yuki, how many times have you done it?
I don't know if I count wipes or not, because if I count wipes, then it's like 80 times.
Okay.
But if it's just clears, I've gotten like 30, I think.
All right. Aria?
Yeah. I've only killed it 20 times so far.
Arthas, you've killed it like 3 times, right?
Yeah, 2 times, 3 times.
Okay.
The first time we cleared, the second time I went into the PF just to experience how is PF doing, one shot. And then the third day when I was like, yeah, maybe I have nothing to do, again, back to the start of the topic, nothing to do after the reset. I'm like, maybe the the Shinryu Katana maybe looks nice, go in, find a random park, one shot, done with this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not even bother with it anymore. The fight is great, right? The fight is great, the feels is great, the music is great. Dude, climbing on the tail and then the BGM transit to the meters, perfect. Everything is perfect. But the fight is still redundant, right? Like, let's be really honest. Who really need that weapon to clear turn 3? I don't know, man. Do you think that you need the weapon to clear turn 3?
No.
It's back to Nidhogg for me. I did not even bother doing Nidhogg. For Shinryu, it's because of how it feels. It's because I feel that it's a dragon fight, and this time it actually interacts, us in Shinryu very well. I went for it. But other than that, it's really it's just redundant. If you want the doggo, though, of course, go for it. It's really
that's
nice
the only
dog.
reason to go. The only reason to do that fight is because it's a new fight and it's something to do.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. There's no like, hey, we're gonna help you get past this tier or past this fight because of this. Because at the time when you get there, you already have had way more than enough to kind of get your gear to a position to be able to clear way past the enrage of unless if you die, unless if your strategy is dying, like you run a red mage strategy and like you just expect people to die during certain mechanics and you have planned reses and stuff and your DPS is dead, sure. Maybe that weapon will help you out, but I just don't.
Like, even, people tell me alts. The weapon is good for alts. Like, seriously, I mean, if I were to I dare to ask Yuki or Aria. I mean, when you say alts, I assume that you mean that alts you will play in the raid, like decent gear. You're not going to be like full crowd. I mean, NAs are rich, right? Your materials are so cheap.
NAs are rich?
You guys'
Okay.
material are dirt cheap, man. Compared to the, when you do the conversion after like JP guild to NA guild, you guys' material are so cheap. Maybe you guys play like all 15 jobs. I don't know. But let's just say for Aria and Yuki, for the main jobs that you bring into the raid, to be really honest, I assume that you guys already have all the Genji weapon, right? Who needs the Shinryu weapon for an alt? To be really honest, right? Like, it could have been something. Why can't it be an accessory? That's my only problem I have with the Shinryu fight. It's the drop. Why weapons? Why always? I just don't get it. We have Genji coffers now. Fights are easier.
Mm-hmm.
I have like 14 pages of turn 4 and I already have 4 weapons. I don't even know I cannot even level faster than I can use the weapons.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, you're right. They gave us double weapons. So like making a weapon a reward and a primal seems kind of silly. Giving a optimal stat ring?
Yep.
That would be interesting because you already have crappy rings that you have to deal with right now. So if you had 3 rings to choose from instead of being forced into those 2, that would be good. Yeah.
Yep.
So all right. Let's get off Shinryu here. Let's get on to this next part of what we have going on. Give me just a second here. So let's get back to the raiding scene. It dying. It's rest in peace. It has a gravestone, right? It's gone. Are a lot of people quitting right now? Do you guys have a lot of more people leaving than people joining? Like you see a lot of people leaving the raid scene, but not a lot of people entering into the raid scene. And I'm going to ask this to Aria, actually. Aria?
In terms of like the old bloods, like people who've established their presences in the Final Fantasy 14 raiding community, I feel like a lot of people are leaving currently. or have thoughts to leave because of how like all the raid scene is right now, and like how easy things are. Like nothing or things are like super. It's not challenging. Some people that I talked to about this matter, they're just like saying they'll probably quit the game in the next tier if it is as easy or just about as easy as Creator was. They want something like they wanted something like Midas, but we got something else. Like we got something like if Midas was like that computer that we always dreamed of, like what we have right now is like a fucking like $200 laptop. That's like the best way I can describe it. It's like you have all these expectations going in, and then it's just like you get in, and it's literally just like what you just like ask yourself, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that, but I mean, this is also the start of the expansion. I expected it to be easier than Creator. But it
Really?
seems, yeah, I expected it to be easier than Creator. I did.
I could not think that it's possible to go easier. I did not thought that. Wait, we like Aria says, we have expectations, right? But he keep Yoshida keep reiterate and say, okay, is this time we're gonna start easy, and then we're gonna bring the level up, unlike Gordius bringing it down. So my expectation, of course, I don't expect it to be Midas, right? But I don't expect it to be easier than Creator. It's just I just didn't thought it's possible. And also jobs being easier. Somehow I don't know the problem. I don't know the brainstorming session or the problem solving skill they have at Square Enix, right? Why would Yoshida think that number one, he says that the raid will start easy, and then number two, he thinks that the job will be simplified. And then number three, why would your simplified job going into an easier raid would somehow think that the player base will have more problem because they think that it's going to be harder to learn the fight. So technically speaking, this fight should be right about the same difficulty as Creator. So because of the new job and the adjustment system coming in, it's going to be harder. You will find harder. How will you ever think that that's going to happen? Easier job, like Yuki says earlier, but you can burst anytime. You can use your cooldown. You can even do kind of like shit DPS. No offense. Some samurai that do 3,000. No offense. Yeah, you can still do that. You can still clear. Like why would Yoshida thinks that it's gonna be even equal than Creator, right?
Because he's introducing Super Savage, right?
We will touch on that later.
Yeah.
So with all these things that he comes in together, somehow reality check. It became easier than Creator. I wasn't surprised that it would be easier. It's just that I just couldn't understand why they feel. Now I'm worried. I think I said this before on the show. Now I'm worried. Because Yoshida says that it's going to start easy, harder. Now that, okay, let's just say Creator is here, right? I was expecting like we start here and then we have maybe something between Gordius and then Midas. And then maybe at the end of this Savage, we will maybe get Midas. That's what I thought, right? Now Creator is here. We already start here, right? So if the next raid here is going to be more difficult, like Aria says, what if the next raid here or the final tier turns out to be maximum difficulty Creator? That's so bad. What are we going to do the next?
I don't think it's going to be that. We're going to end on Midas. I'm 100% sure we're ending on Midas.
I hope, man.
All right,
no, I kind of agree with Arthars. I can't.
Really?
I feel like they're keeping the Savage raids easy, and then they're releasing the ultimate raids to try and curb our enthusiasm. They're trying to it's like they want ultimate raids to be a replacement for Midas, for Gordius. And the reason they want to do this is because there's no there's no gear incentive in Midas or in Ultimate.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Yeah, you're not missing gear by not doing Ultimate. You're getting a 345 weapon with one extra materia slot. That's not really incentive. That's like, yeah, it's slightly better, and
it may not be. It depends
shiny.
On the stats. All right.
I've heard that they're going to be exact same stats as the
okay.
Genji weapons, but with an extra materia slot. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've been told. And so, but even with different stats, you're still getting the same weapon damage. It's not really incentive. It's not. There's no reason to do it.
Right.
yeah, there's no gear incentive there. It's just a shiny new weapon that you can show off and glamour.
I
So
mean,
it's
that's
not
it, right? You
it's
need
not great.
you need good glamour. That's like the end game. Like that's what
Yeah,
you're going
yeah.
for. You're wanting to look really cool, and you want everybody to look at you and be like,
Yeah.
"That guy looks really cool. He must be a badass raider."
Yeah, it'll be good for about like 3 months, and then next raid comes out, and then we'll grab that one instead.
That's okay. You gotta
yeah,
have
that,
it.
that could be an incentive, but I don't think it's a great incentive. It's not good enough for the regular players. It's the problem. A lot of the regular players are just gonna see, oh, it's too hard, not gonna do it. That's
Yeah. Motivations, man. And motivations come from reward.
Reward is looking good. Aria?
Like literally, yeah, okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and get into this part of the conversation. Let's talk about the hamster wheel of MMOs, of the incentives on why we do things in this game and how we get into it to where we want to do it and we're inspired to do it and it's fun to do at the same time, like all of that at the same time. Aria, do you feel like this game gives enough of that hamster wheel stuff where you're getting raid exclusives, you're getting these things, and you actually feel good at the end for showing off what you have?
No.
Okay.
No, because like I feel like okay, so they give us weapons and like all these like armors, but I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Gears don't like a lot of the raid gears didn't even look that good for like the last two raid tiers, to be completely honest. And it's like they give us like more like things to glamour on that looks better than our fucking raid weapons. That's like
Yeah, with like seasonal events and stuff like that too.
yeah, and like okay, so if gear is out of the question, what can we show off with? There's titles, which is pretty nice.
Titles are horrible.
I
No
think
one looks
titles-
at titles. I don't
I
look
think
at
titles are okay. I think it's at least it's longer lasting than glamours, or like as like
if
how
it's not the
weapons-
only thing we get, then it's
Yeah.
fine.
And I think
That was the problem with Turn 2 Savage, or Second Call Savage. It was like titles were the only thing we got.
Right.
yeah. And I think it would have been a lot better if they gave us, or if they gave like mounts or even like some sort of thing that would at least like give the general population like some sort of motivation to try out for. Like I simply don't think that. I mean, glamour is nice, but I don't think glamours are actually cutting it for a lot of people. It's just like, what are you gonna spend like? I mean, there's a satisfaction of clearing it, but like, what if you don't like the weapon or something like that? You know, like some people will do it for like the cool aspect of it, but some people might just be like, oh, I mean, that looks cool and all, but I mean, you cleared the fight and all, but your weapon looks fucking ugly. Like, what are you gonna do with it? Kind of thing. So I think if they gave like, I don't know, the players maybe some I'm trying to think like
What would you want? What would you want, Arya? If like from killing
Okay, I
the
would-
hardest raid in the game, what do you want to see?
honestly, I would want to see a mount and maybe like a recipe book for like crafting, because I craft and raid in
So,
both.
but here's the thing: you get a recipe book, you craft stuff, then it becomes a thing like the professional crafters of the game now have to get carried through all the hard content so that hardcore raiders can get through stuff, right?
I think if they did that, then I think it actually would revive the raiding scene a bit. I think it would give people incentives to get better at the game so they can clear the fights, right? Or it could bring out the casual sides to like, to be better or something. Because like I think at least, I mean, the way they're hyping up Ultimate right now, it's like, oh, it's gonna be an impossible fight for people to clear. And they were like also saying how they designed the fights without thinking of the casuals. So that'll be like a perfect opportunity for Square Enix to give raiders to try out the fights and try to get better at it. So that way, in that sense, any of the future fights that they design, they could keep that in mind, that they have raised, or they could be potentially be raising the skills or the skill ceiling of the majority of the player base, right? So if they gave better incentives for the fights that they design, then maybe we won't see like we won't see the raiding community dying out as fast as it is currently.
Okay. Yuki, tell me what you want from a fight at the end. It's the hardest fight in the game.
You know what? To be honest, the incentive, what we get right now, would be okay for me.
Okay.
If the raid was harder.
Really?
Because actually, here's the thing. People want things that are hard to get, that are difficult, that you only have. Now, even if what you got was sorta ugly, if you're the only one that has it, then you're gonna show it off. Like, you're gonna show off like this rare item that only you and a select few people in the world have gotten. And this relates directly to difficulty, because if the raid's easy, everyone gets it, then what's the point of having this? Like, it could look cool, but everyone has it, so who cares?
Right. Cops just said something here about glamours too. We don't want glamours when they're just going to glamour back to their Shisu and Wolf glamours the next day.
There's that too.
Yeah.
Like, I would glamour no, I wouldn't, but maybe I would glamour the ugly ass Genji fending armor if Omega was actually difficult. Maybe I'll glamour the axe.
Okay.
But yeah, if things were actually difficult, things were hard to get, that's enough of an incentive for me.
Are you guys going to do PvP to get the PvP glamours?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
So what if they just did this? Before I get to you, Arthas, real quick. Let's just say they did some weird leveling system with dungeons, right? And so every time you clear like a fight, the next time you go in, if you want to, it goes a step harder. The health of everything goes up a little bit. You do a little bit less damage. Some sort of like difficulty, like super easy programmable difficulty. And then at the end, you get to say, I've cleared level 98 of this fight or so. How far have you got into this fight? How difficult of a fight have you done with this version? And so they just do simple things like increase HP checks or something else every single time. You don't have to do a lot of programming. Just they make it harder. And then you have this ladder. And then whoever's the highest on the ladder gets their name on a list on the official forums or something.
What, me?
Yeah. Sure.
Sounds like Diablo 3 grinding.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, it sounds like Mythic Plus in WoW, right? But
Yeah.
it still comes to incentives, right? Even if it's difficult. Like, I just bring an example that's currently in game, like Palace of the Dead. I mean, that's not difficult, but there's a leaderboard, right? But who really cared for it? So if a dungeon is that difficult,
who looks at FF logs? Who looks to see where they are on FF logs, Arthas?
I don't know. Apparently, I don't FF log, so I don't know.
Okay.
Right? Maybe that's an incentive for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel that incentive. Okay. Titles, I agree with Frosty. Although Aria is right. Is it Aria who said that? Title lasts longer. That is true. Up to today, you can still put it on. That is true.
And then I'll just turn off my settings for titles so I don't see titles.
Right. So I still think it comes down to incentive, whether it is Savage, whether it's Ultimate, or whether it's the dungeon that you said. I just think that it has to be, the lifespan of that thing has to be longer, right? And if we are talking about equipment, it has to be more useful in the longer term. Because, like Yuki says, if you get the unending Bahamut weapon, looks nice, okay, glowy, shiny. When the next raid patch comes in, I wouldn't even say the next raid weapon. The moment the next raid patch comes in, the primal, we assume that it's going to drop weapon because they're so obsessed putting weapons in primal, right? The next primal is going to people is going to just use the next weapon. So
but they're
what's
going
the
to
point of
glamour
having this weapon? What happens if, nice or not, special or not, it's up to individual, right? What if the next primal turns out to be, people feel that, I got the first clear, that glamour is actually more like what they say. What if Genji looks like shit, but what if the raid is harder? Even it looks like shit, you want a glamour, right? It's the same. Every piece of glamour, that's how it is. If it's difficult, it doesn't matter how good it is. It can look ugly. You can be holding a piece of shit. People will still glamour it because it's difficult. Because you get the recognition. Now, if you want to drop a weapon, I feel that the weapon or maybe weapon is too powerful. I feel that you should drop a piece of maybe a gear, maybe an accessory that somehow can last you all the way to say getting the next 4.2 rate ring to be better, right? Like right now, what's the item level? 240, right?
Mhm.
Maybe drop us the 250, 255 ring. No, I mean, ring is not that overpowered, right?
Like
a
the
little bit
normal
more
mode
stats.
gear, like for the next tier. Like you already
Something
have all
like
the
that.
normal mode gear for the next tier.
I would say minimum, yeah. So at least when you get this ring in ultimate, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be easy to clear, right? If what Square Enix says, let's just say a normal hardcore raider takes like 1 month to clear. You're technically talking about that piece of glamour lasting, or if the weapon is useful, at most 2 months. Why don't you extend it a little bit? So at least you don't have to pay for one more accessory. You don't have to craft one more accessories. You don't have to. I mean, accessory is so difficult to get, right? The RNG is much more than say an armor or weapon, right? Why can't we bring this ultimate gear longer? It's not OP though. We just want it to be last a little bit longer rather than just totally obsolete, right? And so you can make it shiny on your finger. I don't know, right? You can make a glamour out of that as
Make
well,
glamour
right?
rings, yeah.
Yeah. So why just a weapon?
Okay, Yuki.
I feel that it could be more, a little more.
Yuki, Aria, do you guys feel the same about this? That we should get gear that's beneficial?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like the reason why they're so insistent on weapons was because of Thornton, and that was like the one useful primal weapon that we got. But that was more because the drop system in the raid was kind of garbage. Like I don't know why, but they gave us the weapon upgrade in 4, and they gave us the weapon tome in 3. So of course the Thornton weapon would be useful in that singular instance. The other problem is our item level rises too quickly. Like in ARR, our item level rose like 20 item levels every raid patch. Now it's going up by 30, and all our old gear is obsolete immediately. So that's the other problem. Our old gear is becoming obsolete too quickly for us to use the primal weapons. So yeah, it's
Okay.
I have to agree with Arthars.
Okay.
Kind of give us something for the next tier. Give us something stronger. Give us accessories.
Okay.
Accessories would be great.
Yeah, accessories are pretty fucking brutal on how they designed it. I think it was okay. It was like giving you token was a good idea because like back in Coil there was no token system, so you literally had to wait for your loot to drop. But now it's just like, okay, so if it doesn't drop, then how many weeks do you have to like wait? So assuming that 3 out of your 5 pieces on your right side, your accessories are biz, so that's 12 books already. And then let's say on top of that, your belt doesn't drop, and that's biz for raid. That's 20 weeks. So it's just like, what? Or no, wait, that's 18 weeks. My bad. So it's like, what the hell are you supposed to do? Like, if you wanted to get into some kind of like a rate or like, what is it? Some kind of like speed runnings, then you either have to like spend tomes and like some books on like upgrading your shit, which is suboptimal, I guess, in terms of like substat balancing. But like, what the hell are you gonna do for the next couple? Like, if it doesn't drop at all, what the hell are you gonna do for 18 weeks? It's like raid log and not do anything, or not be able to do anything because your gear is not there. It's just like, I don't think it's very. I think they definitely need to change how accessories are being handled currently, because it's very RNG heavy and very grindy. It's not if the fights were grindable to a certain point, then I'll be okay with it. But just you not being able to grind for any of the accessories I think it's completely unacceptable at this rate.
Okay.
Like,
What
when they
about
The chance
brought
of
in-
getting it is only one. The chance of each accessory or belt drop is only 1 out of 35. It's really brutal compared to the armor or weapon. And also
Like,
they give you box as well.
like when they brought in Lakshmi, I was like, oh shit, they're finally heading in the right direction. I was like, fucking accessory drops, we don't have to wait for it. But now, I honestly thought when Shinny was dropping, I honestly thought it was gonna have pool of weapons and accessories. So it would have been like, because I was like, okay, they're not bringing two primals right now, they're only bringing one, so there has to be one of each coming in to help out people or help people gear their right side. But what the hell did we get? Like weapons that doesn't even help.
Yeah.
I guess a
They
large
could just bring diadem back, guys. We'll just do diadem for our accessories.
No, that is a failed concept. You're not bringing it back.
Wait, aren't they bringing that shit back again though?
Nope, you're lying.
Upgraded version. The Forbidden Lands of Eureka. That's supposed to be like
Well, you
a
guys.
bit. I mean, they use diadem as a base template for that. So we see that in 4.2 and see how it is.
Oh yeah, we'll see how it works out. I'm sure it'll be great. I mean, like, how could they mess that up? Oh.
And I'm really interested for that content though, because we talk about how useless primal weapons is, right? For a Realm Reborn, like for relics, they were relevant. When relic patches also patch on raid patches. So getting that weapon, if you can grind fast, you potentially can get a tombstone, upgraded tombstone item level weapon with your relic. So if you can grind 3-5 days, if you have the time for it, you actually help your raid. And then going into the Realm Reborn, relic became kind of irrelevant. Good substats, but still came in too late. So now this time, I'm not sure whether it's fortunate or is it unfortunate that we could not get this Forbidden Lands of Eureka in, which is supposedly built for relic as well. Part of it, not fully. Delayed to 4.2. So now I'm interested to see. So now 4.2, we're gonna get a primal, obviously, or two, right? For weapons. And then we will have our raid weapons as usual. We have our tombstone weapon, which again we get in 3 weeks as usual. So where is rally gonna fit in? So I'm really curious. Are we gonna get more redundant things, or is Square Enix finally gonna take this chance? This unfortunate delay.
You grind more than anyone else, Arthars, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know anyone else that runs 2 characters at the same time, running relics for 5 of different alts. How do you do this stuff?
I'm not doing that shit anymore this time. I learned my lesson in Realm Reborn.
Like I can't stand it.
If it's redundant like that, I'm not doing it anymore. I'll just do one just for glamour's sake. But now I'm excited again because of the delay. I kind of feel like maybe the relic is gonna be relevant for raiding. I kind of like.
Do you guys have your relic?
We can't do it now.
Do you guys have your relic done?
From Heavensward?
Yeah, from Heavensward. Yeah.
I have like
3 completed
from Heavensward.
I stopped doing it. Like, I literally just stopped doing it. And the reason I did that is because I changed my job so much. I didn't want to go back and start it again. Like, I changed my role. I went from machinist to scholar to paladin in all the tiers for Heavensward. And I was like, there's no way I'm just going to waste my time doing another relic. I don't know. I'm not incentivized for that. I can't grind. I go insane if I think of anything that's grinding. Like, I can't even do hunts. I don't know what it is. Like, I just lost all inspiration to do anything besides logging in and getting some sort of instant satisfaction by raiding, like logging in and doing a raid and having a challenge there, or doing some sort of PvP. I don't want to go in and slowly build towards something. I don't find that relaxing. I don't find it anything. That's why I don't have any crafters leveled up. And maybe that's just it's Square Enix trying to like suit the game to me or something. Because like when we were talking about making a lot of this stuff easier too, like my group, I think we raid 2 to 3 times a week. 2 to 3 times a week, 3 hours each raid session. And so we cleared 04S. Xeno was in that party. Goku was in that party too when we did, because we had to get some pugs. We lost a couple of people. We cleared it just a couple of weeks ago.
So you got carried?
I got carried. Yeah. But no, we did it this week with random pugs that were low percentile pugs. Okay? So we didn't get carried that time. Piece of crap. One person can't carry a group. You can't
just want to take a jab at you, man. Just want to take a jab at you.
Percentile is still relative to the fight. So like, if the fight was harder, the lower percentile people would be actually better than the lower percentile people in this tier.
True. But I mean, like, I'm in that whole casual population right now, and I'm going to get into the pug life going into this next tier and everything else. And so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're going to pug in? Okay.
I'm going to have to start doing that too soon. Like I can't keep an active schedule anymore, a static schedule. I could be working raid nights like half the time, and I just don't know until the raid night happens. So I have to go with a pug group, or else I'm letting down 7 other people. Right?
One chest Frosty coming.
One chest frost. That's all.
Nah, there's 2 chess parties like every single day of the week, dude.
Yeah, no, I can find them. They're always there. Remember?
Yo, we gotta think about our trapping business too in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, no, like when we go through all this stuff and we're doing this in the future, do you feel like Square Enix is building for a more casual scene?
I mean, it already is.
It's already there.
It already is. I mean, of course, there's a lot of factors that made us feel like that. Like this rate here, right? Because Omega Creator was different. I know that expansion is coming. I know that there's absolutely no point wasting time said getting all 13 jobs best in slot game. I knew that it was just pointless. So after I clear on my main and one of my JP out, I just stopped. So this time for Delta Scape, right? I actually play quite a lot on the NA on both Primal and Aether Data Center. I gotta say though, like along with the World PF coming in. I mean, World PF comes in quite a long time ago, but this is the first time I actually sees that, even NA can park and clear turn 4. I'm quite surprised at the same time impressed. Although we will touch on the attitude about the PF and people later. If we go there. But let's just say on paper, right? You see the amount of PFs. It's encouraging. It's encouraging. So for casual or people who doesn't have group, like for example, Yuki part of Leviathan. You know that in Leviathan we have this group of raiders that will always come together and clear something. Right now you feel that it's good that they are there. It's feel that you approach them to help. But right now in the raiding scene, you don't need to anymore, which is sad because we go back to the start of the stream. It is sad for us raider that no one's need us to help. People want 2 chests, but at the same time as a casual, that is encouraging because you don't feel tied up anymore. You feel that you can do it any day.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 chests every day.
Even NA can do it. Even NA can do it. Yeah.
It has already became casual. It already became casual already. So
is NA casual? Is that what you're trying to say, Arthars here?
It is, but I think it's a good platform for the next raid here. If what they plan is indeed true, that the next raid here will be harder, the next final one will be harder than the 2, then I think this is a very good platform. It's better to start casual than start gorgeous and end with casual. We all know what happened to that. What happened to that during Heaven's Word, right? So this time I'm okay with that.
Do you hear that, Yuki, Aria? Even you guys can do it.
No, not them.
Even NA can do it.
Wait,
I didn't say what?
But you're in it.
Though,
oh, come on.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Just trying to give you shit for it. Chat went crazy on you, Arthars.
No, it's true. It's true. I've seen 2008. Shit, you not. Now we are touching the topic that I didn't want to go in. Fuck this. Okay, so I saw this turn 3 group. This leader samurai, right? I forgot his name. He's on my blacklist. I can check later. So this samurai, right? He put up a PF. Turn 3 Wiggly Farm. No mistakes or you will be replaced. Let's one-shot this. Right? So when we went in, it's a full park. When we go in, 0 deaths. Impressive, right? Turn 3, 0 deaths. We hit and rage. 0 death. You know how much fucking DPS he was doing? 2008. 2008. When I checked him, he got 340 gear, some 320 again, because accessories orange is so bad, right? I would say his average item level is like what? At least 330 at least. 2008 DPS. Making a PF. Easy one-shot clear. 0 mistake or you'll be replaced. Wait, so if you are doing 2008 DPS with that gear, is that considered that you yourself is a mistake?
No.
Obviously he didn't.
Low DPS is not a mistake. He intended to do that.
Maybe. So sensitive, right? I can't say his number, right? So I'm fuck it. So I just tell him that, your DPS is a little bit low. I don't do that. But whenever I go NA, right, I just put on this mask. This is how I play in NA, Put on my NA douchebag and like, why is your DPS so low? And then this guy told me, dude, my foot just wore off. I'm like, okay, your foot is not gonna make up 1,200 DPS, right? So even people like this managed to get a clear. And also in Aether, me and Muni and some Elysium people, we just, they just happened to gather people. Happy was there as well. We have this samurai wearing a fucking yokai watch. He died like 6 times. He's wearing a yokai watch, dying like shit. He's still clear. I'm not saying that these people got carried, but the fact that now you have access to even get into groups now in the PF and clear, that already tells you that it has already become casual already, right? The raid scene has become casual already, right? But
that's
maybe
not
this will have
casual. The
something to do with
hardcore raiders.
Ultimate.
That's the hardcore raid scene. That's the hardcore raid scene. Getting people who die a lot through content. That's how you challenge yourself, right?
Maybe okay. I don't know how Zeno do it. I don't know how Yuki does it. I don't know how you guys do it. I can't. Every time I play on NA, right, I just can't do anything else for the rest of the day. Parks though, like a weekly 2 chess parks though, not like say 0 chess go in and hell. Maybe that would be more bearable. I don't know. Never get a chance to do that. But just for weekly clear, I can't. I don't know how you guys do it. It's very stressful. It's very stressful.
It's a lot less stressful when you're not actually having to clear on the line.
Okay. When you're not depending on it.
Much less
dude.
when you don't have to worry about getting actual gear.
All
I can talk about that.
That's
So,
why.
right.
There was this one week that I had to miss my raid, and then for that week I had to pug my clears. I legit kid you not. I have so much fun every time I do traps, and I went into this 2 chess party, and I was like, yo, or 2 chess 1 2. It was completely fine. Like there were no deaths. Everything went really smooth, and I went to O3S 2 chess party, and I kid you not, that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. I legit went in. I was like, oh, it's gonna be fine, and some of the parties can't even make it to library phase, and it took me 5 hours to just give it up. To give up on the 2 chess stream, and I was like, and I just literally asked people on my stream, yo, who can help me out right now? So we grabbed several other people who cleared for the week, and I literally I just did a page run of that.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I was that made me realize, I was like, dude, people in Party Finder or people who have Pug Life have it fucking rough.
Yeah.
I don't
never know what
how
you're
they do
getting
it.
into.
Yeah, sometimes I need a page, and then sometimes I'm done pugging. I'm just done pugging. So sometimes in the morning I'll be loading up Zeno stream, right? I'll be like, okay, when Zeno do turn 3, I'm gonna snipe this group so that maybe I can get it easier. Sometimes I just think just fuck it. But of course, at the end of the day, there's whole 7 days in the week. I would say that as stressful as it might sound, it's doable. You will still get your 2 chess. It's so for that sense, I kind of I feel that the park scene definitely evolved, but is it temporarily or is it gonna be better? Because the next rate here is gonna be bigger. Now, Ultimate can need to be park. I'm not sure we can. Maybe we will talk about that later. Right? But in terms of right now, I think the savage difficulty for parks for casual is definitely there already, which is good. Okay, now I have a question for the 2 of you though, Yuki and Aria. Would you consider a group that is good, right? That some reason you go through the PF, right? A 2 chess group. You go in, you do 2 pulls, you do 3 pulls. You know that these people can clear. You look at the ACT, numbers are great. Healer over DPSing a little, which result in some tanks there. But you know that a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit more understanding, a 2 or pull more. You know that these people had the caliber to clear it. And then they proceed to disband. 2, 3 wipe, just leave the group. Do you think that this is good, or do you prefer say a group that you went in 1 full lockout 90 minutes? Those people I never seen people so optimistic. We can do this, guys. People actually stay, nobody leave, but they just keep enraging. I can't even tell anymore which one is a good group right now. Are you willing to go into parks with those good players but is so impatient, or are you willing to go into groups that their DPS is bad, healer is doing 200 DPS, but they get to enrage, optimistic, willing to stake the whole instance? To any scene right now, right, which is considered good actually? Because I'm very confused how to tell what is a good party.
Well, I really hate the group that tries to encourage everyone when they can't do I really, really, really hate that group.
Okay. So if they're just a bad group, you're like, just give it up, guys. I don't care if we'll get the clear in 2 hours. I'd rather go in the 5 different groups. It'd take 2 hours still, but you'll get the clear with good players in
the other case, I've rarely encountered the other case, mostly because players, like a lot of people tend to run ACT, and a lot of people do see the numbers, and they tend to be more forgiving when everyone is doing like good numbers. So I rarely ever see the other situation that Arthars described. I can see how it's frustrating though. But no, I don't want to ever sit in that 90-minute lockout. That's more soul crushing than anything else.
Aria, what's your thought on this, dude?
Honestly, I've been in like multiple boats, but as I feel like if you ever get like sugar-coated, like, oh, it's like maybe you can't do it, or maybe even if you can, like, I don't want people to just say, oh, you're doing fine, you're doing well, like when you clearly see they're not, like, right? Like, I think I've been in both boats because I was a really, really casual player back then. Like, I know my DPS wasn't the best, or like I didn't even know my opener at the time, and people were like, "Oh, you're doing fine. You'll do well." But like, I think if at least for myself, I want to improve as much as possible or as fast as possible. So if I ever is given the opportunity, then like I would honestly go to a group where people are just gonna yell at me for like the mistakes I'm making.
Okay.
Like I want them to pound me for the mistakes I'm making, so that I myself as a player can improve.
Okay.
Our perspective of whether we're doing well or not is actually a lot more strict, because we have higher expectations of ourselves, and we can see we kind of figure out like every tiny little mistake that we make. For us, it's like that tiny little mistake can like most people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference on ACT, but then it's like, so you look like you're doing absolutely fine to everyone else, but for like to yourself, as a personal goal, it feels terrible. So you want somebody else to like yell at you and pick out your mistakes.
Wow, dude, the mentality is so different, right? Oh my god. Okay. So I should be more, because like the group, right, that I just told you, right? Those viewers tell me the same thing. These people are so bad. Why are you still in the group? I'm like, dude, going through these hours earlier, the 2 situations I told you guys happened in the same stream during the same period when I was pugging the same turn 3, in like that 4-hour time span. So we have groups that disband after 3 tries, but good players. Disband another 3 tries, but good players. And then we have this group that is absolutely bad, but willing to stay whole 90 minutes and hit and rage multiple times. I look at the chat, I'm like, dude, I actually feel that these people who stayed, for me, they're optimistic. They have a lot of room to improve. They managed to come out of these 90 minutes with good experience, because the next time they do this fight, going through 90 minutes and then multiple enrage, although maybe DPS is not good, but I feel that they walk out of this group and probably gain more experience than, say, the previous group who have good players but just leave after 3 turns. I thought that the latter was better, but now hearing from Aria and Yuki, oh my god, I was just being too, what is that, naive, I guess.
Hey, you hear the dude who does like you talked about it earlier. You were like in a party with Samurai that does like 2,000 DPS, and you hear that dude telling everyone, "Oh, we can do it. We can do this." Like we're hitting Ray.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about that?
You're right.
Here's a quick question for you, Arthars. What's worse, NA or PG servers, PUBG servers?
Wait, what? NA or PUBG servers?
Yeah, which one's worse?
But PUBG, you can't shit talk though, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're making fun of you for talking shit about NA, man. Come on.
Both have their problems.
Okay, there's servers
I'm not shit talking the NA. I'm just like distinguishing the difference of what I experienced in JP and what I experienced. Even in NA, like I said, you see, now I'm in NA, I have 2 different experiences. So, of course, I don't do as much as Yuki or Aria or Zeno, but I don't know, like, Hey, I'm the new guy here. I'm trying to blend in. I'm trying to wear my NA cap, my baby rage. I'm trying to blend in, right? I want to know that what approach should I be taking right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Should I be taking the kinder one? Okay, let's be honest. Those like Yuki said, when I saw the 2008 Samurai, I just lost it. I just call him out. You know, people in chat tells me that you can't do that. You're gonna get banned. I'm like, at this point, go ahead, ban me for 24 hours. If he does report me, I just could not take it. And then and then when we go to that group that last 90 minutes, somehow I was able to. I don't know, man. Maybe it's the mood, I guess. Because that group feel really like no one is holding grudges with one another. Everyone felt like if we were to stick on, although we, you know, they enraged 2 times 3%, 3%, you know, with some depths, right? But I felt like we could clear it, you know. Maybe it's the settings, I guess.
All right. Well, I want to get into this next subject here before we spend too much time here, because the questions are all over the place. So we got lots of things lined up right now. But I do want to talk about Super Savage Ultimate Twin Deluxe Breath of the Dragon Hardcore Rage fight. So let's get into Super Savage here, the ultimate fight of the unending coil here, because this is extremely important for hardcore raiders right now. Any kind of the raid scene in general, this is one of the most valuable things. So I want to talk about it. Are you guys excited first? Are you actually excited? Or are you kind of hesitant to be excited about it? I mean, how do you guys feel about this new difficulty coming in here? And I'm going to start here with Yuki.
I'm totally down to do it. I'm kind of excited.
You're excited?
Yeah. Because when I did Gordius and when I did Midas, those were like the 2 great tiers that made me feel like, oh, I gotta get better at this game. To create, I'm like, well, there's nothing to really get better at anymore, because, you know, you kind of just like waddle through the fights and then you got it. So I'm kind of excited for Ultimate. I'm kind of excited to be actually trying and push everything to the limits. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and
right.
I'm looking forward to AFKing and Rauger's Reach with the weapon. That's
okay. Aria, do you have are you kind of hesitant to be excited about it, or are you full on like no matter what you're going to be excited for it?
Honestly, I was like kind of indifferent about the whole thing, but for the last couple days, my Static and I, because I started playing the game when Heaven's Ward launched, like a month after Heaven's Ward launched. So I never got to experience like all the coils as at a synced fight. So they took me through 5, they took me through 9, and we're doing 13 later tonight. But all the fights that I'm experiencing at least when I experienced it, it was like all in sync. So like things were like literally melting. We're pushing phases. Like we're not even like the damage that we're receiving is not even significant. So now that I'm actually experiencing the fight as it should be or it should have been, like I'm a lot more excited for the content to be dropping on Tuesday.
Okay.
Than I was ever before.
Arthas, how you feel?
Wow. Dude? Okay. Streamer point of view, can't wait for Ultimate. Right?
Okay.
Can't wait for Ultimate, because not just because I want to stream more 14. No, not because of that. Because I want to play 14 more. I like this game, but up till now, it's just not there. You know, it's just not there. I hope the Ultimate will change it. I want to sit here and raid, mash button, repeated wiping, raging, people backseating, telling me what I should be doing, and then get angry. I want that experience again, right? And I think that raiding bring that experience. You know, but in Gordius, that was the climax. It slowly died down up till today. Definitely, it's really bad. It's just not motivated at all. Now the Ultimate comes in, and we know that it's gonna be the most difficult. I can't wait. I want it to be as hard as possible. You know, I want it to stay up for me for like 3 weeks to 4 weeks. You know, minimum. I hope that it will be like that. But a lot of us thinks that it's gonna be one day for Wolfers, right? But I hope that for my casual, my group is quite casual, but they are more persistent. But in terms of play skill and understanding, adjusting consistency, they are quite casual. I hope that for them, for us, for my group, can last at least 3 to 4. Because I say again, difficulty for me depends on how long it lasts, right? You can tell me that it's the most interesting mechanic you ever seen. This is the most WTF way of handling said mechanics. I don't give a shit. For me, most difficulty comes with time. For me personally, that's how I feel. So if it can last 3 weeks, that means that it's more than Midas. That means that it's not as bad as Gordius. I'm okay with that. But that's just one fight, though. Just one fight, though. So it's just one fight, though. And also how long it takes, because there's a lot of things coming, right? You have PUBG to play, you have Mario Odyssey, you have Star Wars coming. Hopefully 3 weeks will be okay for me. That's how I feel. But I want it to be, being said, let's just say that I just want to play this game as much as possible. I want to enjoy this game like I used to. I want it to be as difficult as possible. Now interesting is though, why did no one come out to any of the interview and ask Yoshida? Yoshida keeps saying that it's going to be difficult. It's going to be like second coin difficult. It's going to be like that type of magnitude. Why no one come in and ask Yoshida, yo, so for Gordius versus Ultimate, which one is harder? I think if someone asked this question and if Yoshida answered this question, I think we have a very clear understanding of where Ultimate will stand. Because somehow no one think about asking this question. So
I'm
right
sorry.
now,
I should have went to the Korean Fan
anticipating.
Fest. I should have went to the Korean Fan Fest and asked that.
No
Dude.
one did, right? I think they'll give a way better picture. Because I honestly think it should be harder than Gordius. But
It should
knowing
be.
Square Enix, I don't think they will. So I'm kind of in the middle. Again, that builds up my anticipation for next Tuesday.
Well, here's the thing. He also said it was going to be cleared in 2 days, is what he's hoping for. And if it
really?
isn't, then they're going to make it easier. He thinks
He
the
said if
hardest
it's-
group,
Oh,
the
he said
hardest
weeks,
group,
right?
the
Yeah.
best group in 2 days.
Uh,
I thought he said, I mean, I obviously didn't follow up the news. I thought he said like 1 week, and then if he expect the world first to be able to tackle in 1 or 2 weeks, and then after that they will monitor the rest of the people. If it doesn't seems to be the number, they will then adjust the fight, right? But I don't know, man. I think this is another good time. I mean, they have already underestimated the world first progress. They already underestimate them since, I don't know, Final Coil. They already, of course, Gordius, they kind of be a dick at those DPS, those gear check, but I would say majority of the time they underestimate. Now, this is a very good time though, because they keep saying, right, guys, this is the hardest content. We are not holding back. This is going to be long as well. You're going to take a lot of time. Even the world first player might find it difficult, but take your time to clear it, right? You have 3, like, are you serious? You think those people will say, take our, no, like what is Square Enix actually expecting? What is the expectation and what is going to happen? So this is another good chance, I think, to see how they take this. I really hope World First will take 1 week. I really hope. Because then Square Enix can sit down and say, you know, we did well. I can say they did well, you know. If it's 1 day.
No, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people are saying this too in chat. It basically, since there's no gear gate, right? There's nothing that's stopping gear from making you clear it, that it's going to be cleared quickly because mechanics are easy to perform. But here's the thing. You have to perform the mechanics perfectly. That would be the difficulty. And the only way that you can clear it is if you play absolutely optimally in the most absolute optimal group and not mess up a single mechanic. Then that could be a difficult fight. You have to make it to where you have to do it perfectly. If you fail a mechanic, you fail the fight. I mean, that's pretty much it. That would be a difficult fight. Yeah, and I mean, it tricks you. It tricks you unless you keep going, but you already lost your DPS. Enough DPS to not be able to beat the Enrage because one person messed up a mechanic. That would be a tight, difficult fight that I think people might be looking for.
That would be ultimate.
Yeah.
That would be ultimate. I hope it's like that. I will be dreaded for it to be like that. That means that my group is never going to clear, right? You know what? But I would love to see it like that. I want it to be like that.
I feel like the fight's gonna need sectional DPS checks, not just like the end Enrage. Because, you know, you think about it, and you look at how we did Omega this tier. People just got a red mage and raised people like constantly, just go through the entire fight, see every single mechanic, just like that. And, you know, if the fight doesn't have like these sectional DPS checks, where if you have like, you know, 1 or 2 deaths, you have 1 or 2 weaknesses, then DPS check, you can't do it. Then it's just going to be just as easy of a raid, because you're just going to see every single mechanic, you're just going to learn everything right away. No, kind of like you kind of need it to be like A4S with the legs. I know A4S is a terrible fight, but it's an example. But
like the hands
you
in
need
Living Liquid as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of need that kind of sectional DPS check just to
Okay.
stop you from brute forcing through the entire fight.
Okay.
Also makes Red Mage not stupid in progression.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's definitely what they should be doing, is putting these DPS checks in here too, just to throughout the fight make sure that you're playing to your best ability to be able to clear the content. And then you have to plan cooldowns a little bit more too. Maybe it's not optimal to use a cooldown on your rotation, because if you don't use it right when you need it, then you can't get past to the next phase. Like those kind of things would be kind of interesting to see, and you have to just force yourself into these outside of training dummy habits, I guess, is one way to put it. Aria, right now, what do you think that they can do to make this fight actually satisfy raiders? The raid scene. All right.
That's a very like open-ended question on that. But at least in my opinion, I think DPS check is definitely one of the I think most important aspect of kind of increase, I think, making the fight a lot worth it in a way. Because like I personally haven't cleared O3S because I was still a relatively new player back then. But like clearing something as you're seeing the enrage bar cast, that's like you're getting all that adrenaline, right? So that's where all the like excitement comes in. Like maybe if they can add more things like that, like maybe minute or 3 minutes into the fight, there's some kind of a DPS check that basically does that. Would be like really rewarding. But I'm not sure about other people, but I'm a huge fan of doing mechanics. So I think in that sense of the way, A8S is literally my favorite fight, because there's so many mechanics thrown at you, and you have to complete it in a near perfect way for you to proceed on to the next part of the fight. So I really hope that they'll come up with like new mechanics, or come up with like really creative combination of mechanics to give players like better things to do, like, or not better things to do, but like to help them improve their play, or just like help them see like the intricacy of the fight design that goes on for these ultimate fights, or any of the fights that comes out in the future.
Okay. Well, the main reason I'm asking that too, right, is because we're thinking about the future of the raid scene, and it was even highlighted earlier as a comment. Basically, depending on how this fight goes, depends on what's going to happen with the raid scene. If it's going to trickle down and people will just stop caring, or if it's going to actually ramp it up and people are going to go full force at it. But it's like a double-edged sword here. I mean, you have, if you make it too hard, you kind of run into an issue. And if you make it too easy, you run into an issue, right? If you make it too hard, then it's going to be just one of those things where people are going to complain about it being too difficult, and people not being able to get a chance to even experience it. So let's talk about that a little bit. And so let's just say they made the fight, and it's too hard. There's two people that's going to be affected by it: hardcore raiders and normal raiders. I mean, they're both kind of in the raid scene. Normal raiders are part of the raid scene. I'm not talking about casual players like me. I'm talking about just normal raiders that log in and they just like the raid, and they don't always get the ultimate experience there. All right. So tell me, if we go in and we make this fight too hard, what kind of difficulties are we looking at right now? And let's start with hardcore raiders. Are all hardcore raiders going to be like, yeah, it's too hard, this is the best thing in the world, it's going to take me 3 weeks working 8 hours a day to actually get the mechanics down for this?
As long as it's not like impossible and requires robotic kind of movement and responses, I don't think it can be too hard, I feel like. So in that sense, I don't think the hardcore raiders would actually complain about it, even if it's like stupidly difficult, or it takes like weeks of progression. As long as we know it's possible, and it doesn't require us to be robots, then it's fine. So I don't think we'll have a problem with the hardcore raiders in that sense.
No matter what, they're going to be satisfied with the content if it's difficult. As
If
long
it's
as there's a challenge there and they're not able to just
Yeah.
mindlessly. And now let's talk about there being a challenge. Are we talking about like they do it every single week and then every week there's a chance that they're going to fail? They're not just going to easily mine. Like they already know it. They have it mapped out on their head and they instantly clear it every single week. Should it be to a point to where there's enough RNG in that fight to where there's always a chance to not do it correctly, even for hardcore raiders?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, not just this game, right? Or not just this fight, right? Like in any other MMOs, right? Like a fight is usually the twist whether you got this or you just 1 second switch off is that RNG, right? Of course, I'm not saying like RNG, like impossible RNG, like for example, a DPS have to take this tank buster. That is just mission impossible, right? But let's just say random things like, you know, all DPS and all healers and all tanks have the same chance of having to handle the mechanic. And then like for example, Shinryu, the last phase, you know, the Shinryu last phase, you just have to spread, right? It's always 4 DPS to 1 of the non-DPS, right? So you can already like set up your markers, let people know where to go, right? Let's just say, just a very small example, let's just say that all the Tatters is going to be on random people. It can be on 2 DPS, it can be on 2 healer, it can be a tank and a healer. So people will actually have to open their eyes and not like Yuki says, robotically knows that I just see the Tatter, I go to B. As a healer, I see the Tatters, I'm assigned to B, I go to B, you know? Things like this, just things like this, a little bit of things like this, a little bit of adjustment. As an RNG, I think it's okay. And also RNGing the cycle, I think is also okay. But if you were to RNG the cycle, right, there is a chance of, say, some people might get these easy mechanics 10 times in a row. Some people might get tank buster 10 times in a row. Then that type of RNG would be like what Yuki says. Sometimes it will seem impossible, or it would be too RNG to the point that you are like, yo, we got 2 tank buster in a row, or yo, we got 2 Nisi in a row. Why not we just wipe, right? You know, then that RNG becomes bad. But if the RNG requires your brain to always be on the spot, and you cannot just for 1 split second forget or assume that mechanic won't happen, and then it's not an impossible mechanic, I think that is a good sweet spot in terms of how RNG can be in that fight. Now I'm thinking of a lot of things though, like we might see Twister plus dive, we might see Twisters plus fireball, we might see Twisters plus the conflict. If it's something like that, I think it's okay as long as they design the fight, which is possible to do, right? But if it's just like 10 Twisters in a row, 10 dive bomb in a row, 10 tank buster in a row, then that's like, I think that would be too bad. That would be unacceptable. I guess when we talk about the RNG.
Okay. You guys think that would be good, Yuki, Aria? Kind of what he's saying about how.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Basically, I agree with what Arthur says.
Okay. Easy enough.
My group and I were joking about this last night. It was like, what if the fight does become like too RNG heavy, or like it becomes impossible to clear? There's gotta be like a leaderboard for people to like list out the mechanics they got and the what percentage they got to, and that's like, we didn't clear, but that's how far we got, and this is how lucky or how shit of a luck we got.
And then FF logs will have like a difficulty in mech level, like, oh, they beat this fight with difficulty mech level 10 or something like that.
That would be the one you were talking about, right? You know, an RNG difficulty in the fight.
Yeah.
What sets you're gonna get? You know, maybe. I hope it's not that bad. I hope it's random but manageable. Difficult but random but manageable, and everybody have to just be on their heels. You know?
On their heels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always ready to go. Always ready to do whatever mechanic. That's all I hope.
I got you. I always hear on their toes. I just never hear on their
Oh
heels.
shit. No. Maybe you're right. It's to be on their toes.
Okay.
On their heels? What the fuck am I talking about?
don't
Wait,
know.
what? Okay. Disregard that. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's good. I'll
Now
start
it
using
makes sense. Now I look at my feet.
You look at your feet so you can figure it out.
Hey, maybe if you wear high heels, girls, technically you're on your heels.
That's kind of what I was thinking you were going for too, because you always have that in the back of your head. Arthas. It's why I try not to get you on the show when there's another person who
Oh.
might be a different gender than you on the show.
Why? Nice.
Yeah. I'm sure. Not well for you. So let's talk about the normal raiders, the people who kind of raid and they just enjoy raiding and logging in and doing their thing, but they're not like hardcore. They're not to the point of like 100 percentile in FF logs. They don't do speed runs. We're talking about just raiders in general. Do you think normal raiders will be okay in that situation if they were actually? It's so difficult. It could take them 3 months to clear before the next tier comes out.
Well,
I think it's okay.
Not you, Arthas. Not you.
no,
Arthas.
yeah, I'll do it later.
Because, okay, so I think it's completely fine. So the reason why I say this is I didn't really get too big into a rating scene until, I guess, Creator. But my group was pretty casual back then. But we literally cleared Midas 5 days before Creator dropped. So you can kind of see how casual my group was back then. But like we killed it literally like we killed it at J-Waves, but we literally killed it before the tick that would kill us is basically when we killed the fight. But I think at least in my point of view, like maybe I might be like a small population of that or small population of having that view, but I think that was like that really defined one of my like rating careers, to be honest. Like just like seeing how the 8 of us, the casuals, can get together and then just clear a fight that was like super fucking hard for a lot of people. Just like having that satisfaction of just like, oh, we finally fucking did it. Like I almost destroyed my desk that day because I banged on my desk so hard.
Out of excitement, you just like you cleared it, then you just start smashing your desk down.
Yeah, like it just going through that adrenaline rush. I think is what maybe casuals might be looking for. Like even if they don't clear the fight, just the satisfaction of making it to the next phase and just like seeing new stuff, or just having the attempt to do the next set of mechanics. I think maybe that might also play in like a drive for a lot of people. Hopefully, maybe. That's what I'm hoping.
So, I mean, do you at least feel like if people can't clear it, like their group just can't clear it, do you think that they're a normal raider if they can't clear Super Savage, that maybe they'll unsub?
I don't want to say I don't think so, but I honestly haven't been around in Coil to Gordius to see how many of the players actually dropped out. But seeing as though this is, or Yoshida even said, like, didn't he say something like if you couldn't have cleared this fight or something like that, you didn't
have the patience for A4S, you wouldn't be able to do the first phase of this fight.
Yeah, so like he gave the player base a big warning, just like saying, oh, we designed this fight without even thinking of the casuals, or like if you couldn't have done this, then you shouldn't be attempting this at all. So people have gotten their warnings, so they should be setting up their expectations in a certain way. And maybe it could be different for people, but like I honestly think that if people are going to this thinking that this might just be another Savage fight, then I think their mindset should be completely changed, or they should be changed for the better into accepting that, you know, we're not gonna clear this fight, but we'll try to see how far we can push this fight until the next raid content drops, or until we get bored of it or something like that.
Yeah. So here's the other thing too. Let's go back, and I know you weren't around for it, Aria, but the Savage coils back in the day when they were doing that. I mean, what was the raid community like then? There was still plenty of people who couldn't clear it, but it didn't make people upset. It's just low percentile people actually going in there and trying it. All right. So
there was a different problem with that one.
Yep, that was different
because it was, again, the incentive wasn't there. In fact, it was actually like worse, because if you attempted Savage second coil, it locks you out of the regular coil.
No,
So why
right.
would you attempt Savage Coil to get gear and a title when you can just do the regular second coil, and you don't risk locking yourself out, and you don't risk your raid days. You don't like lose your time.
Okay.
Like the problem with that was just incentive, and it was kind of backwards.
Okay, I got you.
So-
So now that they fixed that issue, maybe it'll be a better situation overall. I mean, I don't think anybody quit over not being able to do Savage. I mean, they just people couldn't get into it because they were risking their loot, right? Right now, everybody has all the loot.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. People quit because they can't buy a house. Hey, you wouldn't know.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah, people quit because they can't buy a house. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People
and
quit.
their girlfriend have to quit because they can't get a house. They put in hard work. So what if they put in hard work for Super Savage and they can't clear? Hey, maybe they quit, you know?
Yeah.
But who gives a shit, right? Like, dude, this is ultimate. Okay? Now we go into casual. If you're a casual and you want... I'm not talking about Frosty casual. I wouldn't even say Frosty. To be really honest,
I'm
I
an
don't think
exception.
Frosty
I
is
understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's different type of casual. If you're just a casual who thinks that, oh wow, ultimate is there. This is a piece of this is a content that I pay every $12.99. Part of my $12.99 is going into ultimate. I deserve to clear ultimate, even if I don't have a group, even if I'm a casual, even if I take more than 1 month, I would deem it unacceptable. Then pack your bag, pack your shit, go uninstall the game and get the fuck out. Okay?
Get the
Now,
Maple Story.
Like, yeah, get out. Go play Maple Story. Go play Hello Kitty World. I don't know. Maybe Hello Kitty World suits you. I don't know. Now, if it's like what Aria says, you should. This is an ultimate. You should have the mindset already that even for me, I wouldn't say myself as a world first or pro. I wouldn't even be in that class like, say, people who try really hard to play, you know. Even for me, right? Going into this ultimate, I have the expectation. I know my group. I have this expectation that I might just not clear this, right? But think about it this way: the incentive is not there. That maybe will demoralize you. But think of it the other way. Hey, even if you don't clear it, you're not really that far from behind from people, right? But you can take this chance, like Aria says, learn, be better, reality check. You know, you think you are great, you are not so great. How about get on the next level rather than just whine and cry and say this is too difficult? Now, this fight, this ultimate is different from Second Coin Savage because Second Coin Savage, they did not give a fuck. They just put it out there. The way they design it, they just the first time they design it, just put it out there. You can clear whatever. If you can't clear, you don't want the reward, you don't want the title, just do normal. They didn't care, right? This time they actually pay a lot more attention to ultimate. It's actually the settings is different. Fights are longer. Maybe we'll see new mechanics. And then they also say that they will monitor the clear rate, right? If the casuals can't do it, they will bring the difficulty down. So even if you can't do it on week 1, week 2, if you are not that group of really high-end raiders, think about it as, you know, progressing a fight that you have nothing to lose except for time, but you really have nothing to lose, right? You know, take the chance to learn it, right? But if you have the mindset of going in and think that I've cleared turn 4, this is practically maybe just a turn 5, another fight that if I go through X amount of time I can clear, then no, it should not. Ultimate should not be like that. If this is what you expect, I'm sorry, it should not be like that. You should be prepared that you're not gonna clear this. This might be the one that is gonna get away, right? And then you go get it. You should even for a high end or more middle or just a raider, this is what you should expect, right? Just try to get better, one up your game, rather than just look at the end of the rainbow and say, yo, I must beat it, if not I'm shit. It's not always like that. Like Aria says, do the next phase, doing with your group, pushing. Now I understand it's going to be difficult because it's the first time they introduce, and at the same time it's pretty late. I mean, it's the start of the odd patch, but it's pretty late into, say, a whole raid cycle as itself. You know, people already gone already. Like you guys were saying, people were already gone already. People already raid logging already. So motivational levels are not there. I've heard that people, some, not all 8 in their savage static are staying. Some of them have 1 people not around. Like, I just don't think that motivational, again, for people like us, I just think that motivational level is not going to be like savage, where people is going to be like spend 4 or 5 hours a day, clear ASAP, try to get week 1 clear. I just think that this time, even for those people who got week 1 clear, I just think that scheduling is not going to be like tight or savage. So maybe the clear rate will go down, right? But I think that this time, because I think Ultimate is something that they want it to stay rather than just Savage Coin, they just throw it out because we were saying that we need more challenge. They just throw it there. This time, I think that due to they are really careful. They're thinking about the rewards. They understand that they can't go overboard with rewards, but still, like Yuki said, just one more slot, not that big. Step up, still an upgrade. It's a little bit incentive, but it might be better the next time. It might be better the next time. And they will tune the fight. This time they start high. They're going to tune the fight lesser, right? But I think the Ultimate in the next patch, in the next cycle, in 4.3, in 4.5, I think the Ultimate will become easier. That's what I'm worried about. This time, I think that it will be really difficult. I hope this time that it really just
destroys everything.
Destroys everything. Make Aria destroy that desk. You know?
Angered and Elysium completely disbanding. They just don't want to do it anymore. It's too difficult. Game's too hard.
I feel that this time it should be like that because I just can't see the next Ultimate to be hard. I mean, we still don't know how hard this one is, but I just feel that raiding they start so low, but because they plan to go high, this time I feel that Ultimate they're really gonna start really high, and you know, as patch or weeks, the next Ultimate, I think the difficulty will go down. So if you are just a mid-core raider or just starting out raiding who have cleared turn 4, good job. I just hope that, I mean, I'm not trying to say what Yoshida says, like take your time, enjoy. That is bullshit, all right? I think that you should go ham, test your limit. Even if you can't clear,
job. Just do it.
No, man. If you want to do that, fine, great, respect. But I think that push yourself, like Aria says, push yourself. Go for the next phase. You know, see the next mechanic. You know, get the clear if you can. If not, don't too worry about it, right?
All right.
We are maybe not. You know, not everybody can be a Jedi. You know.
It's true. Not everybody can be a Jedi. So let's go on this topic real quick. So
I'm okay with being a stormtrooper. You know.
You are a stormtrooper. I'm sure you hit nothing.
Yeah. Whoa!
But all right, so let's talk about let's go on the other side. Let's say it's too easy. All right. So let's say this fight is maybe like a little harder. A little bit harder to know 4S. Just a little bit. Right? Just a little step over there. And you just kind of clear it. And someone clears it in a couple of days. They put out a guide for it. A guide comes out the next couple of days. Anyone who reads the guide will clear it within a day. How do you guys think the community will respond to that in general? Like the hardcore community. Do you think that people just kind of give up?
I can tell you right now, a lot of the community, or at least people in the endgame community, they don't have any faith in the developers currently. And if they actually do that, they're gonna, the little shred of faith they had, they'll probably just be like, the faith, just like saying, maybe they'll get this one right. Maybe they'll get this right. That shred of faith will just disappear. Well,
I don't think
completely be gone.
I feel like the hardcore community has never had any faith.
Never had any faith in the difficulty. What about the hardcore Palace of the Dead community? Still no one solo 200. Hey?
I mean, at this point, I think we can probably just... It's safe to assume that everyone who's tried to do that probably are just dead. And there's part of the... They was reborn as one of the fucking mobs in there.
Okay.
People have gotten close. They've gone to like floor 196 or something like that. But a lot of times it's usually they run out of pomanders. That's usually how they fail.
They are not good at handling their pomanders then. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know.
Maybe we're supposed to turn your camera so I can see the other side of the map.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. That is the solution to most of it. Guys, make sure you have your cameras angled properly when you do these fights too. I swear, if I hear one person complain about not seeing a black hole though, in like something similar to that in Super Savage, get out. Who cares? It's just hard, difficult. You can't see it.
Dude, that cape though. And
I hope there's like 5 capes. I hope there's 5 capes in Super Savage. Just like, don't step under a cape. There could be a trap door there. It could be a twister, guys. I mean, I don't know. I really want it to be super difficult, but if it's not, and then like people clear it, and like almost everybody who's been looking forward to it clears it within the first like week, right? Do you feel like we're basically just going to end up in the situation to where everyone's going to unsub until we hit everyone that's the raid scene is going to unsub at least until the next tier?
Wow, I think like, I mean, we kind of had this situation before, right? Like, you know, when they first released Heaven's Word, they say that now the raid is going to be called Savage. Back then, we don't know what to expect. We expect it to be really difficult. I mean, I get it. A lot of people say that turn 3 and turn 4 is kind of too much in terms of being too bullshit. But think about it. Turn 3 and turn 4, you know, Manipulator and Living Liquid did live up as a Savage. You know, did live up as a Savage fight. Now, we knew that Savage is back then, right? We knew that Savage is going to be difficult. But still, people went, like I said earlier, people still go in. You know, of course, there's a lot of new players coming in during Heavens because it was so hype. It was a game on the rise. We don't know what it's gonna be. We think that it's gonna be fun, difficult, but a lot of people couldn't handle it. So a lot of people quit, right? During a lot of statics break up, a lot of people just stopped raiding during Super Savage. That's why we now see our Savage dumbed down to the point like Omega, right? I feel that there's a chance this time that Ultimate is going to be something like that. It's going to be really, really difficult. And I think a lot of people might not take it well. But the difference this time for Ultimate is that, hey, rather than say Gordius, you have to clear Gordius. If you're not, how can you call yourself a raider? At least this time now we have a Savage that is so fast, okay, manageable for a lot of people. Kind of easy to clear for most of you. Now you have a platform to build on. You are here already. Now is to go to the next step. So this time maybe with this, you know, the Savage as this time being the stepping stone rather than you don't have anything back then and then get just face roll by Living Liquid. I think that this time it should be better. It should be better received. Now, if it's too easy though, that might also become another issue because the amount of things they said. Right?
Yeah. They built it up. No, I was going to say, if it's too easy, you're right, the amount of things that they said, we will not have trust in any kind of difficulty that they ever they implement again. It's done.
Because this is, again, like when Savage first came out, I have expectations. When I saw Living Liquid and Manipulate, I want to bang my head to the wall, but at the same time, I tell myself, this is Savage, you know? Now, this is Ultimate. This is what I expect. And then they go on publicize, they show us. We already seen the fight. We already know how this fight were crazy back then. Now we see it elevate. We see Twisters and Fireball. There's possibly going to be Twisters and Dive Bomb. That's almost 100% ready, right? So now we know that it has to be more difficult. But let's just say in some way, it's, you know, Twisters turns out to be more forgiving, Dive Bomb turns out to be more forgiving. Even all these things come in together, but it still turns out to be easier to clear. Then I will question I'll question what they say, right? They keep saying that this is going to be difficult. Take your time, take months. And then if it turns out to be 1 week, that last bit of hope for myself, like Aria says, trusting the developer, it will just be gone, man. So it cannot be. It cannot be.
Do you think that it will help the general raiding community if it's easier, or will it actually hurt? Not the raids, not the speed running, not anything else. Let's just say just normal raider logs in and you get in there and you clear and you're like, I can clear this. No. Do you think that would be bad still?
Nah. That is Savage. That is your Delta Escape.
I kind of wanted to delve into this, but I couldn't really figure out the way to.
Sure.
It might sound like elitist as fuck. I'll admit it. But what I wanted to say was the difficulty that the creator and Deltascape has brought up. It's really fucking bad. Like I can't stress how bad it is. People will clear a fight and they'll think they're hot shit. Like this whole section might sound elitist as fuck, but a lot of people that at least I've encountered in Party Finder, I'll see it. They'll try to argue with me that what they're doing is better. Like and I'll look at their logs. They're like in the gray percentiles, or like purple, or not even like purple, like green, blue, or like I'll say like, I think this is how it should be handled, and they'll just be like, they think they're hot shit because they cleared it before. They'll literally be like, well, they'll either like try to talk or like say that you're for A, like we're retarded, or B, like I cleared this fight so I know how to do it, or something like that. So I think the easy contents have inflated the community's egos by so much that it's getting to the point where it's really unfun to trap, and at certain levels. And if Ultimate does become the fight where pugs can clear it just fine, then that's gonna inflate their egos even more. So that it's gonna be very harmful to the community. I think Ultimate needs to serve as a fight that cuts down, that deflates their ego, and just kind of puts them at their place.
So we want it to be able to fix the NA scene, basically, right?
There's something else too. It's like, so you have all these people that clear the fights, and they're not actually that great at the game. They're not actually that good at their jobs. And if this continues on, and we still get these kind of mediocre players who never improve, you know what? Most of the veteran raiders aren't going to be here forever. Most of the people who do your stat calculations, who do your guides, who tell you what the best way to play, how you play your job, what to look for, all that stuff, we're not going to be here forever. And if the community doesn't get better, that means there's nobody else to replace us.
Well, there will be. See, here's the thing. Like, there'll be some people who will come up and they're like, oh, I need to fill this void. Maybe. And, they try to get some attention from it or something, but they suck.
Yeah, exactly. They suck. So then why the hell would we listen to them?
They'd listen to
nothing to back you up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So, like, you're just gonna... People are just gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse, and nobody would be left to teach them either.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now...
This is one fight. I hope, and I can see that even, as mighty, as patient as the JP Parks can be with one another coming to it, this is one fight that I hope that even the JP Parks can't do it. But this might send a message and say, wow, so if I don't have a static, I don't have a link shell, I don't have a group of people, that means I can never try? Not necessary. I don't want it to be like, hey, if you don't have a group, if you are just a PF warrior, you just do your weekly clear in PF, you don't intend to find a static, you can't. I'm not saying that don't try, but still you can park. I feel that you can go park. Park groups should still make a group and come together. The park raiding scene themselves is also part of the raiding community, right? So come together. You might not be able to clear, but that's not what Ultimate is. It's not. Ultimate is not there just so that you can clear. Ultimate is there to, like Aria and Yuki says, yes, bring you to another level. You think that you have it. You think that you had it. Now is the time to test it. Now it's time to put you on the test, right? If you can't do it, reality check. Go see how you can improve. Like Aria says, you think that you are hot shot. I'm sorry, you are not. I mean, I'm not going to be there to tell you that. Probably you yourself will know when you get owned in phase 1. Don't just take that in. Don't post on Reddit and complain how difficult this shit is because you can't clear. Go with find people and
Arthars, you say you're not going to be there, but I'm hoping that you're just going to jump from like stream to stream of people like doing it, and just like as soon as they wipe on first phase, you are shit.
Dude, I'm not hugging that. I'm not hugging this shit, man. I'm definitely not gonna be hugging this shit.
No, I mean, like I think that really needs to be a definition of what the unending coil is, and any kind of other content they put at this level. It should challenge the serious raiding community. That's all it should be. It just challenge the serious raiding community. We have to figure out how to get better, and that should be what it is. And people who aren't really good need to figure out how to get good in order to clear it. That would be the ideal content that they release. It is scary because I feel like right now, as someone who does a show that talks about raiding every once in a while, if we don't have content that will encourage players to be better and have fun doing it, then I'm not going to be able to do rating shows. Who am I going to bring on for rating shows? Some guy who started last month, someone's mom that just first started playing MMOs and they just wanted to talk with their son.
Dude, I wouldn't mind.
Of course,
What-
Arthars. You don't know what they look like. It's just someone's mom. When you think about like someone's mom, Arthas, do you instantly just get like positive images in your head?
Positive.
You don't
yeah?
think of some nice lady holding a pie that's like maybe a little bit overweight or something that just like you don't see him
when I
attractive,
talk
you see him
about
comforting?
when we talk about someone's mom, I'm thinking about like my wife age group category. You know, those
Oh,
wonderful,
okay.
perfect,
These don't show
refined
until
woman.
past
You know,
50.
So as soon as they hit 50, you don't think about the mom that's over 50 years old.
I mean, they have their problems to deal with, like menopause, right? Why would you play fun?
Well, now we're age discriminating here on MogTalk. Thank you
Hey,
very
they
much.
have more problems to deal with, right? They wouldn't be on.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, I don't know. One day, I'm not saying that you can't. If you do one day get a 50-year-old mom on rating show, I would be here, man. I would be here. I would be curious. I'll have a lot of questions.
Guys, if you know anyone, everyone watching this channel, if you know anyone, please send them my information and make sure I get in touch with them. And then the next show we have will be the nearing elderly rating show. And we'll do that for the next one, guys. Jeez. Well, I think I kind of agree with a lot of points you guys are saying today, especially with the unending coil. Like, it needs to be that. It needs to be difficult. It needs to be something that everyone can say, hey, this was challenging, and it took me a while to clear it, and every time I do it, we have to be on our guard. And I think that's kind of what this game needs for challenges. They need things that don't have gear checks, that will be statically hard every time you do it. You will not out-gear it. It will be something that just will be hard every single time you do it.
I hope that in the patch notes, I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
hope that in the patch notes, when they, Tuesday comes, the patch note comes in. You know how they always try to, I wouldn't say downplay, try to like, disclaimer. Hey, this relic might take long time to complete, blah blah blah. I hope that this time for the ultimate, right, there is like a section and say this content is meant for the blah 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 blah. You should not expect this blah blah blah. This will take you up to months to challenge. I hope that they have a disclaimer like that.
Okay.
Just hope.
We'll see. All right. So here's something that we might try doing here. I do want to hit these questions because I haven't looked at it for a bit here, but there were questions throughout the show that I feel like we need to get to, and we're kind of going over that 2-hour limit here. And so we're going into a little bit of a longer show today. Jesus Christ, what the hell kind of highlight is Sorry. Good job, Paul. So we might take a few people. If you want to try to call in and you want to try to get on here and just say something real quick, we probably won't keep the show going too much longer, but we can take a call or two. You can get in the Discord here, and then we will jump in the call lobby. And in the call lobby, we'll see you in there and be like, hey, maybe we'll take a call from this person. We'll throw you in the green room, and then within like the next minute, we'll bring you on the show to ask your question here. But I do want to hit some of these questions that we've had submitted to the Google form. And this is one that was submitted a little bit. Here's a meme for you, Yuki. Yuki, this was a meme. I know this is a meme just because of what they put their name as. Here we go. It's Yuki Bald-Scythe. Sorry, yeah. Do you have a balding issue that I don't know about, Yuki?
No.
Okay, I gotcha. If the raid scene is dead or dying, what would you do instead of play the game anymore? What games would you transfer to instead?
That's actually a really good question because I haven't really actually thought about this. The other game that I'm really looking forward to that's coming out soon is Monster Hunter World, and that usually kills a huge chunk of time. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll actually play a different MMO because there are actually most of the MMOs in the market don't fulfill the same criteria that FF14 does for me. Like FF14 looks good. It's not pay to win. And yeah, it looks good. It's not pay to win.
Has the coats.
That's that. Yeah, that too. Cat girls. Well, no, a lot of games have like cat ears and shit, so that kind of works. But yeah, I don't really know where I'll go after that. As for the Yuki bald meme, I'll explain that a little. So when I told my stag, I want to start streaming, uh, then they were like, "Oh, Yuki, are you gonna be like Xeno? Are you gonna start making guides? You're gonna start making are we gonna start seeing Yuki strats? Are you gonna shave your head like Xeno and be bald?"
Holy shit.
Oh,
That's where the
jeez.
meme came from.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Good enough for me here. Let's see. Okay, this is a good question, and I'll ask this over to Aria here. This is from Cutest Girl Hans something. I don't know what that whole thing goes through here. What are your opinions on parse runs in Party Finder?
If I were to give an exact opinion on this, I think they're really stupid.
Oh yeah? Why?
I mean, it's good to, I guess, go for those parses, but I mean, certain parses can be achieved with like certain team comps, only certain team comps, and it's just it's difficult to say, but I mean, you're not gonna get. I mean, everyone is trying. Some people are in it for different reasons. They want there's one group of people want to do it for like legit and trying to improve themselves. Like I had to like join a lot of these parties because I didn't have anything to stream for. But eventually, I used those parties to, because there are no phase pushes. I used the parties to figure out exactly what part in the fight my GCD's at, or like what my rage is looking like. So that I use those informations to improve my gameplay. But there are literally others at the other side of the spectrum. People are legit in there to pad or be most retarded as possible. I mean that by like they'll like join with like someone, or they'll join with like an Astro that they will only feed them solo balances, like, or any sort of like spreads they get, they'll just throw it out. They'll just always have balance on deck, ready to feed. So a lot of those times, I don't really feel if someone says parse runs, I'll just immediately just think of it as like someone's trying to pad their parse. I mean, to a degree, I think it's okay to do. Like, it's part of the fun, it's part of the game. So there's like, why shouldn't you do it? But I feel like if you're trying to say parse runs, you should probably just like say, oh, this is gonna be for me or something like that. Like, don't advertise it as someone
Carry me
as
through a
something.
parse run.
Yeah, like something like that. Like, if they come out right and say like that, I don't really care. Like, I'll just be like, oh, I'll help this guy out or something.
I wouldn't. Like, I absolutely wouldn't.
I will just be in there for the sheer enjoyment of just like seeing how stupid can this party get.
99% of the times, those parties, they're for the party leaders themselves. They're not for you. So that's what your expectation should be. And as for practicing your GCDs and understanding that, I tried that at first, and then I realized people in these parties don't use their aggro tools. So it's literally worthless for me to practice.
Yeah.
Because the entire situation is completely different as a tank. I'm willing to bet it's completely different as a healer as well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, there's a difference between O1S parse runs versus O4S parse runs. I feel like at that point it's a little different because a lot of people have to have some sort of a skill or some sort of understanding of the game, even if it's a little bit, to have gone that far. So it might be a little different there, but I do agree with the fact that, if people join this shit, they're 99% of the times they're not even using their aggro tools. But another part that I want to like shine upon, I guess, is like a lot of these parse farm parties are usually, I mean, I don't want to sound like, again, I don't want to sound like an elitist, but a lot of these times, the people that are hosting these parties are legit like gray percentiles, green percentiles.
Well, they probably
So,
got
like,
called out on it. Like they're probably someone said, "Hey, look, your percentiles, your sucks. I got better parser," and they're like, "Man, I'm not gonna live with this anymore. I'm gonna go out there and cheese it so I can look good in the next party finder I go into." Right?
Too many people just blame Metacomp and Astro. Like, you don't need these things to hit orange.
Like,
You really
some
don't.
people literally have told me, I can't achieve this DPS because I don't have the gear. But like, I can tell you this right now. One of my friends who legit had like 310 gears and like an Alamigan axe, or no, the Susano axe, like 310 gear on the left side and like Lakshmi on the right, and then like literally fresh out of Susano and like Lakshmi. But he has understanding of the game from like previous tiers, and he literally went in and he like got like 90th percentile on a tank, and I was like, what the fuck? People can literally achieve 90th percentile not being geared at all, but people who are geared can't even achieve that high. Like how I don't want to say how bad you have to be at the game.
Yeah, yeah. You have to be someone. Well, you have to. I think it matters what group you're into. Like if you're in like a really crap group, then you might not have as much luck because your group is not doing anything to support you in getting better DPS, and they're dead half the time, and you have to do stuff to make up for them, especially when it's healers and things like that.
Yeah, true that.
All right, let's get this question here from Goka. This is commenting on what we were talking about earlier about the 2 chest and 0 chest. He said that he's joined a lot of late week 2 chest parties, and they've been relatively successful. Is that the fact that so many 2 chests late in the week are really indicative of a dead raiding scene? Or is it just people, I'm going to add on to this, or is it just more that they are confident that they still get a 2 chest clear at the end of the week?
What, turn 1 and turn 2?
Well, I think if a Goka's joining a group, I'm pretty sure he's clearing turn 3 in turn 4 with 2 chests too. But I mean, yeah, it is true. I think clear parties would be kind of a different story if they're still doing 2 chest clear parties, but 2 chest like farm parties, maybe it's
Like,
possible.
I mean, of course, a lot. I mean, those packs. There's so many packs in the PFs right now, right? Everybody, I mean, the reason why they are in packs, they don't have static, they don't have a fixed schedule, and also how easy raiding has become. Maybe they feel like delaying to the week. So I myself have joined some turn 4 on NA packs on like Sundays, 2 chests, and they still manage to clear. Like I say, okay, maybe the raid is not difficult. But at the same time, I think now I think a lot of people expect what to get for in packs. I'm pretty sure that 2 chests, if they were to fail a few times, I'm pretty sure it will become 0-1 chest. At like say Monday or something. It's just that it's not that bad now. Right now, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did he say early in the week or late?
No. He said he's joined a lot of late 2 week
right?
chest parties. Yeah. And they've been
That's,
pretty successful.
That's completely different from my experience, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There were a couple of weeks. Okay, so my alt is solely reserved for selling 2 chest raids to people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't get that. I don't get a sale that week, so I can go pug it by myself. Mm-hmm. And usually it's late in the week because they don't tell me until it's like Saturday or something like that. So I try to get this 2 chest party done for my alt. It usually doesn't end up very well. I don't think I've ever actually had like a successful 2 chest 04S late in the week on a Monday or a Tuesday, or sorry, a Monday or on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. I've had success with 03S, just not 04S. For that, I've usually had to resort to 1 chest parties. So it's kind of like completely different from my experience. Maybe it's the data center. Maybe it's primal.
Maybe
knows?
it's primal. Primal
Timing,
just
man.
sucks,
Maybe
yeah.
it's timing. Maybe it's
Maybe
timing.
Maybe it's
timing.
NA.
Maybe it's just.
Maybe it's just NA.
I feel like it's just. But
Yeah,
I
it's still
haven't
luck. It's
had
still
that
luck,
luck.
definitely.
I haven't had that luck.
Okay. All right. Let's get to this other question here. We already answered that one. Okay, here's a good one from Oakenfell, I think. What sort of mechanics are conductive to being good for speed clears? What makes a good fight for speed kills, and what examples?
This is a difficult question.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Wait, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
So what makes a fight fun to speedrun, or a fight fun to speedrun?
So there were two ways to interpret the question. What makes a fight? What would make the fight good to speedrun, and what makes it fun to speedrun? Because that's slightly different.
Okay.
Because a fight with absolutely no RNG in it is really easy to speedrun. All right? So that's one thing. A fight with phase pushes in it makes it really fun to speedrun, because at that point then then it's like A11S, like we talked about earlier, and with all the phase skips it makes a huge impact, and it makes it interesting to do this. Like, for example, you look at O1S, that's a really easy thing to speedrun. Almost anyone can do it. You just get a little lucky with balances, and then you're good to go. And you can see the charts on O1S as well. Like, everyone kind of has the same times within like 10 seconds of each other on the top 10. So the mechanics in O1S very straightforward, no RNG, easy to do, easy to speedrun. A11S completely different. Like, when Delete Monk did it, they had like 30 or 40 seconds ahead of everyone else because they managed to skip these phases, and that's fun. That's fun for everyone. That's fun for people to try out, but not everyone can do it. It's hard. So that kind of answer.
That's a good answer. You guys kind of on the same page with that? Aria?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just checking this chat thing here. I know what you're doing, Aria.
I'm honestly in for the speedruns to. Well, I think it might be different for a lot of people too, but I think for me to speedrun, I wouldn't really care what the fight is like. Maybe the design of the fight will be a bonus, but I think I'm just in it for just playing with people that I would like playing with. To be honest, that defines my affinity for, I guess, speedrunning in that sense. Because like it could be like the best fight ever, but if you're running it with like people that you don't really want to play with, then I wouldn't really be interested in speedruns at all, or I don't think speedrun will be interesting.
We're casual speedrunners.
Yeah.
I gotcha. All right, let's see what else we got here. It looks like everybody's too scared to come on the mic, so I'm sorry, guys. No one wants to talk to you right now.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I was hoping Layla would come on and say his bit, but I think he's maybe too scared too. All right, we got Emeric's waifu here. Wants to ask a question here to Yuki.
This is for Yuki. Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Yuki. I have a question for a master fanfic writer like yourself. In an Emeric and Astinian pairing, who would you put on bottom? Do you see Astinian as a power bottom? What about Astinian while he's possessed by Nidhogg? How would that change the dynamic of the relationship?
Koda, why are you doing this to me? Why? Why are you doing this?
I think chat demands answers, Yuki.
Oh my god.
Come on, waiting on a answer here, dude. I think. Are you just speechless?
I think you should throw Horchifant in there somewhere.
Horchifant.
And
okay.
make it...
Post, like, before or after the spear went through his heart?
do I have to answer this?
No, you don't. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. We got Argent Fury, maybe? I don't know. What do you think of including heal checks in Ultimate like they did for Shinryu?
Oh, yo, that healing, that dragon thingy is something like it's new. It's new. It's like I really feel that it was really interesting because we keep thinking we keep saying that healers should not do DPS. Healers should not do DPS. Square Enix doesn't want healer to do DPS. Yoshida doesn't want healer to do DPS, right? And then suddenly they add in a mechanic and say, okay, you don't have to do DPS, but now you have to do heal check. I thought that was I thought that was really brilliant. For Ultimate, maybe I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna fit in for Ultimate. Like, I mean, we done all those mechanics before, right? For coils, not sure where they can fit that in.
Okay. Look, I think we have a caller here.
Oh.
We have one caller coming in, and we'll bring him in here in a second. So I don't know. The healing check thing seems kind of odd to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel, it feels forced completely just to give the healer something else to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Heal the Venus.
Yeah.
I think it could be worked in a little bit differently or better than it did for Shinryu. At least from what I heard from a lot of the healers, it feels really very unpolished in terms of how they have to handle the healing there.
I feel like this kind of mechanic was kind of like just a way to test if it was doable, to see like how people reacted it with it. Because you look at how they did that mechanic, nothing else happens during that check. So I feel like it's just there for them to kind of test the waters, see like, is this a good mechanic that we can use in the future, or is it just absolutely terrible?
Yeah.
Because they are the only person that can do it is the two here. I mean, of course you can say, maybe Black Mage. Wait, can Black Mage still use physics? I don't even. Or Red Mage,
Paladin
right?
can. Rip is
Yeah.
not.
So
I've actually had people go red mage and try to help with those ads.
Yeah.
It's a mechanic that strictly can only heal, and then like Aria is saying earlier, when that thing happened, no other mechanics happen. So it's kind of like just heal one. It's either heal party or heal that NPC or the mob, right? So
yeah,
it's weird. I think it's in early access.
Healing those dragon ads also heal the person that they're tethered to. So yeah.
All right.
So you're healing the party as well at the same time. It's I just think it's a test mechanic.
Okay.
It's just testing the waters.
All right. So I'm bringing in a caller now, and I am bringing on the one and only Layla, aka Klops. Klops, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. I was doing really well until you called me out in front of the whole show.
Yeah, 100% called you out, man. And you were asking me, what was it that you were asking me on Twitter? Something?
I was asking what day of the week you're free to let me take you out on a date.
Shit. Are you busy tonight? I'll drive up there.
Wait, where are you at these days? Are you in my neck of the woods?
I'm within maybe 4 or 5 hours.
All right, I'll meet you in the middle.
Okay, Vegas. Let's go there.
Yeah, okay, let's do it again. Yeah, Vegas again, yes.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, dude. But yeah, no, dude, I wanted to bring you in because there was some stuff that I wanted to talk to you in particular about. And I forget what it was on Twitter. I don't know. Was it Gilgamesh that we were talking about?
Yeah.
You really want to open up that can of worms?
I don't know. We could do it real quick to be like one of the last things on the show
Is
here.
that pertinent to the conversations?
We're in general questions right now. I mean, we talked about fanfic just a second ago.
Hey, man, your show, dude. You call the shots.
All right, so I wanted to bring this up actually as a point of the show, but I figured we'd wrap it up. But you know what? Let's unwrap it for a second here. Gilgamesh, the raiding scene, everything about it. That's what Gilgamesh is, right? The raiding scene. Everybody kind of transferred to it so they could raid. And now it's locked. It's been locked, and there's been, I think, mostly negative feelings towards that, although I've heard a couple different sides at this point by now.
Sure.
Can you tell me, Layla, your thoughts on Gilgamesh being locked right now?
Okay, well,
On the spot.
At the beginning of Stormblood, I was totally on board with everything they were selling. Yeah, I have gone on record multiple times saying that Gilgamesh in its congested state and when it was massively overpopulated. Personally, this is just my opinion. I'm not speaking for anybody. I personally felt it was harming NA more than it was helping.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was homogenizing the raid scene a bit too much at times,
Mm-hmm.
and that was quite unfortunate. I think that with Stormblood's release, it was definitely necessary that they lock down at least server transfers, if not character creation. They obviously went with both. I think where I draw issue lately is the fact that while I was on board with that at Stormblood's release, and the reasoning for why they wanted to do so, I would have expected to hear at least some form of update on the matter and where Gilgamesh stands in their eyes currently. Because people can bitch about it on Twitter all they want. We can make as many salty official forum posts about it as we want. None of that actually matters. The only thing that actually matters is what they think of Gilgamesh. Do they still view it as overly congested and overpopulated and a detriment to their community? And I would have honestly the most recent major live letter that they had, I thought for sure at some point in that night that we were going to hear some update on the lock servers, because Balmung's locked as well right now, as far as I know, unless something has changed without my knowledge. I was extremely surprised that we didn't at least hear an update, because I think people were saying it's been 5 months that Stormblood's been out. I don't know if that's accurate. When did Stormblood come out?
It came out in June.
5 months.
So
that's
we're talking
absurd that we haven't had
4
a
or 5 months.
single piece of information.
Yeah. And so
I mean, when you guys are saying Gilgamesh lock, as in like total lockdown, like Balmung always is, or you mean like not
Nobody can
enough
transfer.
people
Nobody can make a character in there.
No one can make a new
completely
character.
prevented from that.
At
So,
no
like,
point during the
literally-
day. Yeah,
You
at
can
no
leave
point
it.
during the day. Can you make or
Okay,
transfer?
Okay. So that results in
Well, I can tell you what it results in. It's unfortunately becoming a big problem for certain people.
rating, or
I think the biggest I guess negative to all of this has been FC recruitment.
okay, yeah.
FCs on Gilgamesh are currently unable to bring in players cross server, and that's been probably the biggest annoyance for people right now. Obviously, they're coming out with all sorts of these cross realm features. We have the cross realm party finder now. I think there's talk about cross realm link shells. Somebody was memeing earlier about cross realm free companies. I personally hope that doesn't ever become a thing. I kind of like free companies. I kind of like free companies being having a server identity, but that's just the old fogey in me. So I think that's probably the biggest negative right now. Aside from that, you just have the obvious of the server just feels very dead. You log on, you don't see many people anywhere. I know that people have been referencing these sheets of active players on Reddit and the official forums and whatnot, failing to understand that I would say a lot of those players that are listed as active are raid loggers, and a lot of those players are actually probably alts. There are a lot of alts on Gilgamesh. It's really not a great representation of the situation, and I don't think many players' like opinions matter on the issue right now, because everyone's going to have their own viewpoint. I think the only thing that matters right now is, what does Square Enix think? Do they think that Gilgamesh is still a problem and still deserves to be locked, or is this something that they've overlooked, or are they currently in the works on something and they just haven't given us an update yet? And one of those three things needs to be talked about.
I gotcha. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I do feel like while Square Enix doesn't always make the right decision, making a decision is important. Actually going out there, and not caving in, of course, to what everybody else is saying too. They have a good idea about what's going on with their servers, but if they do something and then it turns out, hey, this was the wrong decision, and people keep voicing out, hey, this is the wrong decision because of so and so, and they just don't say anything, that's a negative situation there. They need to come out and say, hey, I understand your concerns. This is where we stand right now on the issue. and then let it roll on from there. Whether
Wait. So let me get this right one last time. Wait. So you cannot even transfer into Gilgamesh right now?
No.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Initially, when I saw Frosty put up this spreadsheet, not the talking points regarding Gilgamesh, I basically just thought that the problem in Gilgamesh right now is like say, Gilgamesh is locked. So no new character creation. People cannot not enough people to raid. That's what because it's a raiding show and then talk about Gilgamesh. I just thought that it's just about raiding.
Mm-hmm.
Now after first thing first, I'm not from NA, right? So obviously I wouldn't be really interested. But right now thinking about it, wait, so they don't even. Back then we have specific time where we can create. Right now that is not possible. And then transferring into, which is a thing that can be done on any server back then, you cannot even do that. What? Okay, that is a big issue. I didn't know it's this. The magnitude is this huge. What the fuck? So you cannot recruit people. New players can't come in. How do you? So after people go out, people can come in, or you can't even transfer out. Wait.
Yeah, they can.
You can leave.
Cross
You can
server.
leave.
So you can get out, but you can't come in.
Yeah, you can leave. You can't come back though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird as fuck. Then okay.
Yeah, get out of here. We don't want you anymore.
Which is a very daunting issue right now because a lot of what the people recommend are, well, if you don't like it, then just leave. Okay, but Gilgamesh has been our home for 4+ years now for a large handful of the player base on there, and we would want to return to Gilgamesh if we were to leave. However, who knows when we would be able to come back? It's a very large leap of faith that only I would say a handful of people have been comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah. That's pretty messed up, man. And I mean, Yuki, Aria, I haven't heard your thoughts on it. Do you kind of feel that's a fucked up situation, or do you have anything else you want to add on to it?
I can't. I feel like I'm not really qualified to say this, or rather say anything on the subject because I'm not from Gilgamesh.
Right.
I don't have that same situation. Yeah, I just there's just nothing I feel like I can properly say in this situation.
Aria?
Well, I'm not in that situation either, but I can see a lot of people transferring off to different servers. There's a lot of people that I've seen transfer into Sargatanas for the last couple weeks actually, and I'm actually scared that other servers will be locked because of the sole fact that Gilgamesh and Balmung are both locked. Right now, there's a lot of people from Gilgamesh I know went to Cactar and Sargatanas, so our population has gone up dramatically, from what I can tell. And I'm kind of surprised, or not. I'm not surprised. I guess I'm more scared that they're gonna put the locks on Sargatanas and Cactar in the future, and unlock Gilgamesh and Balmung, and they'll repeat the same problem all over again.
Yeah, locking just seems like a very weird solution, to be honest with you. I mean, it just means, hey, I have a friend that wants to play the game. I guess I'll switch servers so I can play with him and help him level up. Or you could make another character, I guess, over there or something, right? But you couldn't take your actual main character over there to play with him. So it'd be a short-term thing. I don't know.
I mean, I'll just tell you, just speaking from myself here and not really speaking for anyone else on Gilgamesh, the reason that I've stuck around this game for the 4+ years that I have is because of the community and the communal aspect that Gilgamesh has harbored. And the fact that there is just no updates and up until this point, there has been no foreseeable updates on the issue is really starting to fragment the Gilgamesh community. And I think it's really unfortunate, the damage that's been done, and it's going to take a while to repair it.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll just see what they say here in the next... Hopefully, we'll see. Square Enix might respond and say something, but they have to at this point.
Does Balmung have this issue?
Yeah.
Balmung... Wait. Does Balmung have this issue?
I know a lot of Balmung community is transferring to Medius for RP now. Do you think if they unlock these servers, do you think people will like just flood back in?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
No, with
So-
cross server right now, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But
So-
like I was
Go
saying
ahead.
in chat, like for
Arthars,
NA,
Hold on.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Layla,
Okay,
what were you
sorry.
saying?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Arthurs, go.
Like I feel right
Mhm.
for NAs, right, where like I say in chat, like local community is more important. Like if you just talk about raiding or you just talk about say get things done, your primal or your daily roulette done, I think they won't flood back in. But like for example, how NA treat raiding, right? The difference I see in JP and NA, how NA treat raiding, right? Although technically you don't have to be on the server, but if you are in the FC or in the server or in the link shell, because right now I don't think you can cross link shell yet, right? So for NA to be able to be there, kind of like locally, is kind of important to the to how you guys communicate or feel belong. So I think for NA is more of a bigger problem, right? But if they would just open up Gilgamesh, I don't think people will flood right back in, to be really honest. Unless like Elysium is recruiting, I think people will come, right? But I don't think everybody back then was, oh shit, Elysium is in Gilgamesh. If I want to get things done, I'm gonna transfer to Gilgamesh, even though I'm not in Elysium, right? But right now, because of cross server coming in, I think even if they open up right now, only people that Elysium wants them to be in the FC or some other bigger big Fs, not bigger. I don't think there's any bigger. Wow, okay. So big FC that want to get people in, I don't think people will just jump right back in. So I after listening to what you guys say, I kind of understand the frustration, because it doesn't make sense why they don't open it unless they can justify and say we're gonna expect too much people coming back in, which I really don't think is the case. I mean, that's why Square Enix create cross-server PF, right? Now you even start to create cross-server friendlies, right? So yeah, I agree with you guys. Why is this still a locked thing? That's quite a mystery, to be honest.
All right, Layla, what were you saying?
I was just gonna, I guess, kind of add to what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on Gilgamesh since day one, so I can sort of provide context that I guess people not on Gilgamesh wouldn't have. The sort of what we would deem the boom of Gilgamesh happened mostly during patch 2.3, and this was at a point where Gilgamesh was probably one of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 servers that were actively pursuing savage raiding and like taking it seriously. There was a very small handful of servers that were actually taking it seriously, and you had a lot of players transfer over, hearing basically about all of the second coal pugs and the success of them on Gilgamesh. Because what really attracted people, FCs like D&T and EM were nice and all, and they did bring in recruits and applicants, sure. But what really attracted people to Gilgamesh during the end stages of Realm Reborn and I would say the first half of Heavensward was the prospect of a large pug scene. Because I think probably the majority of raiders at that time weren't really static based. A lot of people were just getting their stuff done through pugs, and Gilgamesh was a good spot to do that in. I don't see history repeating itself where you have this overcongestion of people coming back to Gilgamesh because of things like Arthars was saying. We have all these cross-server party finder tools now that we didn't back then. The reason they had to come to Gilgamesh before, because that was the only way to get into these groups and clear and be clearing the content with them. They couldn't do it cross-server. And honestly, a lot of the people that moved and jumped ship to Gilgamesh, they gave up a lot to do it. So somebody's going to be much less incentivized to do it now that they can just do it cross-server than they would, compared back into 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah. All right. That's a good point, dude. Well, Layla, do you have anything else you want to say here before we get you off air?
Love the show, dude. Keep doing everything. You're doing great, dude. I gotta say the addition of the featured ship posts to the MogTalk has been a welcome addition.
Cool.
Highly appreciated by your stream viewers, and I encourage you to keep it up.
All right, I will make sure to do it. I'll keep it here for the next show too. I'm trying to add a whole bunch of stuff. That's just one of the wonderful things that I've added so far. But
on the real, it's good to talk to you again, man, and good to see you guys.
Yep, definitely. Thanks, Layla. I'll see you later, dude.
Yeah,
I'll see you, man, Layla.
Thanks, Layla.
Later, Layla.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a good note to end the show off on here. We went through a lot of questions. We didn't get to all the questions here. Some of them we actually answered in just the basic conversation that we're having. We're already like 45, almost 50 minutes over time here, so I feel like we need to wrap this up. It was a great show here. It just proves we need to have more of these raid shows more often. And hopefully we will, depending on the difficulty of Shinran-Yu, right?
Yeah, I was
Or not
about to ask
Shinran-Yu,
when
sorry.
you're going to do
Ultimate.
Ultimate.
Yeah.
I was about to ask when you're doing the Ultimate.
Oh, when I'm eligible, I've cleared O4S.
No, as in when you're going to, like, are you going to immediately get Ultimate show next weekend?
You know, I might. If it gets cleared next weekend. So here's the plan. The goal is for it to be cleared and for everything to kind of calm down with all the serious hardcore raiders and everything else. Then I might bring someone on to talk about it and have a show about it. That could be the next raid show that we do, is talking purely about the ultimate fight, depending on how it turns out. If it turns out to be like, you know, Zervan or something, then, you know, screw it. We're not going to talk about it too much. I will say there has been a lot of requests to have a forum or an Excel sheet filled out like I did for the World First race for this previous tier. People would like just to see like a form for this in particular, just to see who cleared it first, second, third. I can only do what's reported as well. So after a certain point, you know, it becomes not that important. But I'm pretty sure I could figure out who the first few groups to do the clear, who they are. So that is planned. So we are going to do it because I think people are asking for it a good bit. Do you guys feel like it'd be good to have that out there? Or is it not worth the time and effort?
I think a lot of people would be interested.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be interested. I think you did like some cutoffs before. I think maybe even like top X amount will be recorded in.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what it's going to be. At a certain point, I'll have to if it takes 3 weeks, great. I don't have to do anything for 3 weeks. I may be asleep when the first one gets cleared. But here's the thing. I've already had a couple offers from people who will help me do the list here. One is Biggs. Biggs said that he'll actually help with the list. And like when I'm not awake, he'll be keeping an eye on it. And Miyuni.
But I can only imagine how busy you were during the
It was hell.
Holy shit. Dude, you were like saying 20. No, you said 16 hours. I was on the show. I'm like, no. It happened in 20. I'm like, oh my god. Yo, how long do you guys think? The three of you. How long do you guys think? I mean, maybe you guys said it earlier. Maybe I missed it. How long do you guys think Wolf first is gonna get it this time? Realistically, no
2
memes.
days.
I know Frosty is probably
2 days.
thinking 2 hours.
2 days.
Okay, now you okay.
2 days serious statement, and it's going to take 2 days.
I honestly want like 2 weeks, maybe.
2
Yeah,
weeks.
I think 1 week. I think 1 to 1.5. I really think. I really think. Yeah.
I'm gonna say closer to about 4 days.
I really want it to be hard enough to be 2 weeks, but realistically, I think it might be a week. If I were to give an exact amount of days, I think 5.
I literally think it's going to be 2 days just because I have a lot of faith within the dedication some of the players have that are going into the content to clear it. I'm sure they're all going to be on Adderall and Red Bull and everything that they can to be as focused. Maybe we should do drug tests
all that preparation, right? All that preparation they had.
I kind of feel like what will happen is the people will go nuts on the first 2 days. Couldn't clear it and then just crash on the third day, so nothing happens. And then they get up on the fourth day and then they kill it. That's my logic.
You know the amount of Red Bulls and the energy drinks those anger Elysium people had, right? That didn't get to drink back then. Now it's still there, already.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. They still have it in the fridge. No, seriously, like if this is going to be interesting because if it requires sleep before the first kill happens, then we start getting into that long-term dedication clears. But if it just takes a couple of days, people can take off a couple of days of work and easily clear it. But if it takes weeks, that's not logical. It has to be people who are seriously dedicated, and this is what they're doing, is getting this clear. But it's
even for people like me outside the scene, for me outside the scene, right? Although I'm not part of the World First program, but for me, when I look at this type of race, I mean, of course, it depends on people. Some people like a sprint, some people like a marathon. For me, I like to see the amount of dedication. I know these people have dedication. I know these people can stay up 1-2 days easy, no problem. Now, the breaking point for me to say distinguish them and like really look up on them is that when you reach the 4th, 5th day, because at some point you need a break. 8 of you, at some point, some of you need a break. And then you have your weekend commitment, you have your things that you didn't plan, because obviously maybe you didn't plan for 2 weeks, like back in, say, Manipulator, you didn't plan for 5 weeks, right? This is where you start to see, this is where the hype comes up, because Omega is just like, it's like at some point Omega became a meme. I was just on stream, I'm like, wait, what, people done? Oh my god, Frosty just called it 16 hours, is this gonna happen? At that point it became a meme. It was just over so quickly already. If for people outside the scene like me, I just could not get the feel of it, I'm pretty sure you yourself is like updating nonstop, like this just and when you're updating the shit.
It was a lot worse during Creator. I think so, because I was doing it by myself for Creator, and it was absolutely horrible to try to stay awake, and I wasn't awake for the clear on that one. It may be the same situation here, but hopefully I have people who will be awake during that situation and can handle it while I'm working, and I can actually have a normal life while I'm keeping track of this. But it's only one fight, so it should be a little bit better. Keeping track of 4 fights is much more difficult. It's much more interesting to me, but I think this will be perfectly doable. So look out for that, guys. I'll try to have something posted up here. Follow Twitter for me. Frosty, what is it? Frosty TV stream, I think is my Twitter or something. So go ahead and follow me on there if you want to get that information. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show here. Make sure everybody do their last shout outs and everything else. I appreciate all you guys coming on the show. You guys have been absolutely fantastic again. But let's go down the line here. I'm going to start with Yuki. Yuki, do you have any shout outs that you want to do for anybody?
Okay, yeah. First of all, shout out to my raid group for helping keep the memes alive. That's very much appreciated.
Yeah. They did a good job.
I didn't really expect to explain the bald meme, but here we are. And second of all, shout out to you, Frosty. I know this show is actually quite a bit of work, so I really appreciate you doing all this.
No, dude, I
very much enjoy the show.
Thank you so much, Yuki. Guys, if you guys don't follow Yuki, please follow Yuki. He streams Yuki Raids. Is your Twitch channel, right?
Yeah.
All right. You can follow him on Twitter. I don't know if you post lots of stuff on Twitter all the time, Yuki.
Not really.
No. I think your Twitter is, what is it? Is it Yuki? Oh God, what is it?
I think this is Yuki Hellscythe.
Just Yuki
I don't know.
Hellscythe.
I've changed it a couple of times.
I got you. All right, let's go over to Aria now. Aria, you have any shout outs that you want to do? Anything that you want to get out there?
Shout outs to both of my groups, my regular static and my speedrun group. Everyone's amazing. Shout outs to everyone for being here, and thank you so much, Frosty, for having me on the show. Yeah. I was probably like that, taking the risk for me at least, because you probably wouldn't know how I would have been on this talk show, because I've never really been in one, except for Yuki's. But thank you so much for having me on, and thank you to Yuki and Arthars for being really great guys to talk to. This is actually the first time I actually talked to Arthars. I've been on the show, but I've been on the streams in here and there, but really fun guys to talk to, and everyone.
Yeah, I'm not that bad, right? People probably overreact about.
You're a little bit overwhelming sometimes, Arthars.
Sometimes.
No, I'm calm and collective, I think.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay, guys, please follow Aria, please, as well. EK Aria is your Twitch channel, and I think your Twitter. If anyone wants to follow you on Twitter, it's is it FFXIV? Aria?
Yeah, Aria Freya. It's FFXIV, Aria Freya.
Okay. Excellent. But yeah, guys, they're both wonderful streamers here. And then you should know Arthars. Arthars here has been on the show a handful of times. Yuki actually had to sub in for him one time because he fucked up. But I mean, Arthars has been on the show here plenty. He streams. You guys should know where to follow him and everything else. But Arthars, do you have any shout outs that you want to do for anybody?
Shout out to Yuki, Hana.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted. Yeah, caught you there, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I would shout out to my people in my server, but they probably not watching JP clips, right? But
Yeah.
shout out to Frosty, obviously. Great show, man. Great show. Every
too.
week, never cease to entertain. You know, regardless.
I think
topics,
there's some
always-
weeks I
always
cease
good
to
news.
entertain. I will say there's probably some weeks that I cease to entertain.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and Yuki as well. You know, all of us. It's great. It's great sometimes to get together and talk to one another, share our opinions. It's really good. Like Aria was saying earlier, the first time I seen it. Wait, you know this emote? I forgot what emote it is. That look exactly like him. Shit, I don't remember. Okay, never mind.
Ming Lee?
So yeah, that's the one. So it's like, yeah, finally to be on show with you. Yeah, that was good. That was good chat, man. That was good chat. Yeah, and shout out to everybody watching, obviously. You know, TwitchCon
Mm-hmm.
is around. Yo, why are you not in TwitchCon, Frosty? So still able to be here to make this show.
Yeah, just for the show. That's exactly why I'm here.
Awesome.
Nothing to do with my work life at all. It's like, but yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, that's the emote. Oh my god.
There it
The
is.
first time when I see Aria, I'm like, wait a minute, is this the guy?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Please, guys, follow Arthars if you haven't already. He's a great guy. He's fun to listen to. He plays a lot of PUBG, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but yeah,
recently,
no,
yeah.
he does.
Yo, it's a great game, man. It's a great game.
But yeah, please follow him, and you can find him on Twitter. I think it's Arthars Final Fantasy 14. Is that right?
Now just wait, what?
What's your Twitter? It's Arthars.
Twitter, yeah. Arthars FF14.
Okay, gotcha. All right. But guys, thank you all for watching the show. I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. You guys are absolutely fantastic for watching and being a part of this. I'm not certain what the show is going to be next week. We'll see. Maybe we'll find out after we see how easy or hard this next tier of content is, which is one fight. The Super Savage Ultimate Dragon Breath crazy nonsense. And guys, also thank you very much to Sky in the chat, handling all the shit posts and everything else to be highlighted here on the stream. Thank you very much to the mods who helped out moderate the channel. And thank you very much to Andre Kane for providing the cover music that we do in the opening and closing of the show. Blizana for the artwork here. Even though I completely Frankensteined it and moved it around and changed it into a different kind of layout. I hope you guys like the layout. Hopefully we'll have some new stuff for you next week as well. Guys, until next time, make sure you be good, you keep cool, and stay frosty.
Wait, do I need to do the awkward wave?
Yeah, awkward wave, guys. Bye, guys. Bye. Okay.